All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning on in. I appreciate your presence. This will be a quick live stream. I'm thinking 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes, maybe less. So let's get it on in. Quick Refresh Chat's undefeated. Let's go.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's 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 coming. Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. Thought his personality be twerking. It's twerking.
All right. Thank you guys for your patience. I had some stuff I had to do upstairs, but I'm good now. You guys see that blanket back there? I'm going to move that. It looks bad. Thank you guys so much. Estevad is here. Thank you so much. Jendo's here. What's up, James? Shout out to James, of course. For the sake of logic is here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. Yes, Rizzo. Sang. Hey, how's it going to meet up? Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. This is going to be a quick live stream. Yesterday, we kind of got both off. It was fun. It was entertaining. And I had such a wonderful time. Thank you guys so much. Everyone in Good Crush Chat. You guys, I just, we was going crazy. Normally I blame it on y'all, but it was both. I was involved. I participated. How's it going, Francisco? How's it going, Afro Punk? So what I wanted to do during no, Sharif. What I want to do is I just want to get right into the segment for those people who couldn't get through yesterday's live stream, because this is really important. What Umar Johnson is attempting to do. It's important. Excuse me. I just want to move this out the way here. It's important for different reasons. And so if you guys don't know, the big issue right now is the certificate of occupancy. Umar's been talking about this for many years, and he's attempting to position himself to where he can blame someone else as to why either the certificate of occupancy isn't put in, right? At least the application for it, because there's a process, or so that when a little bit later on down the line, that when it is put in, that when it fails, he can have a comfortable excuse. So either way, it's still an excuse. Him showing the classroom after 7 years that has some desk in there, it takes him 7 years to do that. That's just to give the illusion of progress. And it's also a deflection away from the central issue. The central issue is whether or not these abandoned buildings are going to pass inspection. They will not. And there's different reasons as to why. And one of the primitive reasons is simply this: Umar has not finished renovations inside of those trap bandos. He told people that in February of 2026. He also told people back in 2023 the same thing. The renovations aren't done. So he's painted himself into a corner. That's why he's only showing 3 rooms. And these are the 3 rooms that he's put in enough work into them to kind of pass them off as if renovations are complete for that whole building and for the gym as well. Okay, he's lying to people, right? So because renovations aren't complete, he does not want to get to the next step, which is to have the inspections take place. And there's a process for that as well. So what Umar is doing now is he's trying to position himself, and he's concocting a narrative so that he can have an excuse as to why the application has not been put in for the certificate of occupancy so the inspections can take place. But then later on down the line, he's setting himself up so that when it doesn't pass, if at some point he actually goes through the process of putting in an application, he'll have a comfortable excuse. And what's interesting about this is there has to be a term that we can come up with to kind of identify exactly what this is. What this is Umar is playing the Black American card versus the Black immigrant card. That's what we're going to get into today. It'll be a quick live stream, but this is so very important. He's playing he's the Black, he calls it DACA, which is a descendant of African freemen something. I don't know. Somebody, but whatever it is. So that's him. And for some reason, there is this immigrant or a descendant of an immigrant. You don't even know. He's just making shit up. Who happens to be Jamaican, who, because he's allegedly against Black Americans, that he's trying to sabotage Umar in the certificate of occupancy process. There has to be a term for this. See this, and it's not that Umar hasn't played the Black card, because he says he's African. But what's interesting is that when he talks about African, he's always talking about Pan Africanism, which is more of an inclusive thing than anything else, even though he's very divisive. But now he's setting that aside to present this false narrative about this Jamaican brother. And then he wants to pull, I'm Black American, I'm a descendant of African, what is it? Descendant of African Freeman Association or something like that. I don't know what the last part is. American, is that what it is? Or African? I don't know. Anyway, for Umar to attempt to throw Black immigrants under the bus and to attempt to more specifically throw this Jamaican brother under the bus, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to do. But again, what this really comes down to is that Umar, he can't hold himself accountable for his failures. And so he always has to blame someone else. Now he's going to the whole Black immigrant Jamaican versus the Black American thing. Okay, so that's what we're going to get into for today. Yeah, it is a form of procrastination. Well, I don't know if procrastination is the right word. What I tend to say is that he's just trying to extend this further and further. He's been procrastinating for sure, because it doesn't take 7 years to show one room that looks kind of finished with some desks in it. It doesn't take 7 years to do that. But this is all a misdirection. It's a deflection from the central issue, which is the certificate of occupancy. Okay. Yeah, Crystal Green. That's another thing. But see, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't even make sense. But Umar, he has to come up with an excuse. He's an excuse maker. Think of all of the excuses that Umar Johnson has made over these many years dealing with FDMG. He's an excuse maker. So even for him to try to go in this direction where it's Black Americans here in the United States of America versus Black immigrants, in this case, specifically Jamaicans. Okay, but Umar's of Cuban descent, and his great-grandfather, Cicero, came up over here from Cuba. And when he put on the paperwork, I can show it to you guys. I ain't gonna do that, but I may have it in a documentary. I can show it to you guys. He classified himself as a white Cuban. So it just goes to show you, Umar will set aside his own immigrant background, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have immigrant background too. I also have background of Africans that were enslaved and brought over here. But he'll set that aside. He'll set aside his own immigrant ancestry, and then even more interesting is that he's setting aside this whole idea of Pan Africanism, because that's supposed to be inclusive of everyone. But he does it because he has to come up with an excuse. He's laying the foundation now, just like he laid the foundation for his bank accounts being frozen months in advance when he was saying that I hacked his bank account. So he's doing the same thing here. So I want to get right on into this. If you guys have not seen this, even if you're new to my YouTube page, you have to see what Umar Johnson is doing here. It's so very, very important, and it's so divisive, but it goes to show you that this guy will do anything, including throwing Black immigrants under the bus, in this case, a Jamaican, allegedly, under the bus, in order for him to concoct an excuse based upon sabotage, one of his favorite words of all time, as opposed to holding himself accountable for his own failures. By the way, I did also do some research. We're going to get into this a little bit later on. I just want to get into the video where Umar is being interviewed first, and it only takes about 3 minutes. And then I have some paperwork documentation I want to show you guys in terms of the certificate of occupancy. I called up there today too, but they won't only open until 11 a.m. To schedule, in order to schedule to have someone come out to, because I was calling up there to see who is the inspector for that particular area where these banners are located, because I couldn't find it on the website. But when I called up there, they had already that particular office where you can set up an appointment for them to come and begin the inspection. That office was closed, but I was able to find some other documentation. I want to share that with you guys during this live stream, and once we're done with that, we'll close this out. Okay, let's get going. How's it going, guys? Little princess, I hope you're doing all right. Let me get some shout outs real quick. Sammy, yeah, this is part of it. It's xenophobia, but the thing is that as a Pan Africanist, xenophobia should be something that is not part of being a Pan African, right? But you're right. It's like xenophobia. But he's only doing this now because he has to create a false narrative to have an excuse as to why the process of the inspection process hasn't started for the certificate of occupancy. Because he told people it was about a month ago that he was on Tuesday. I think he said he was going to call to get it going. Still hasn't happened. So he has to come up with an excuse. So yeah, I think this is a good one. Xenophobia. Yeah, but it's such a contradiction. What is it? Pan-Africanist xenophobia? It doesn't even make sense. Anyway, okay. So let's do. What's up, Black Wolf? Thank you so much for tuning on in. Okay, I appreciate it. And I guarantee you guys that there are Black immigrants who donated to FDMG. I guarantee you that there are Jamaicans who donated to FDMG. But Umar is going to pull this card here at this time. Okay, very important. All right. Let me pull up the video. This was an interview that Umar Johnson participated in on the 5th, April 5th. Excuse me. Was it it was yesterday. We just got to it yesterday. So April 5th of 2026, and he's being interviewed by Father David. We're going to go to the 38-minute and 38-second mark. Okay, here we go.
I can tell you, are you still traveling a lot, or have you cut back on your speaking? All right, Aquila, thank you.
Yeah, but I just wanted to call and wish you a
thank you
anniversary and 24 more.
That's right, at least. I'm sorry, Dr. Johnson.
Still traveling.
Yeah.
Not as much lately because we've been focusing on FDMG. Mm-hmm. Just to give you an update on FDMG, Bobby David, and we spoke last time I was on the show that on the Honorable Frederick Douglass's 200th, not his 200th, like his 207th birthday now, February 14th, we completed everything, not only the renovations, but also the clean out of the school. And we just ready now to decorate the school, but we have to get our final building inspection and our certificate of occupancy. And just to keep the people aware of what's going on, the building inspector for our district, Bobby David, I don't think he's a Dr. Umar supporter at all. He is a Black man. And he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country. And I think that he is either he himself came to the country or he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country, respectfully. And he doesn't really care for me, to be honest with you. And I noticed just by his behavior over the 7 years that we've had the school. The last time I saw him was on March 10th. We did a walk through the building. He told me he would give me a phone call. Because my whole thing is where we are now, we're ready for our inspection and we're ready for our certificate of occupancy. He said he would get back to me. It's been almost a month. He has not gotten back to me yet. This is not the first time I've asked him to get in contact with me. There's been times before where I've asked him to get in contact with me. Once I asked him to do a pre-walkthrough, this a couple of years ago, I wanted him to do a pre-walkthrough, Baba, to tell us if there's anything he thinks we need to focus on. And he said he would get back to me, and he never did. And I have a whole list of things that he's done through the years that were kind of, a little bit, that just kind of showed me that he wasn't particularly supportive or interested in helping us get our building inspection. So right now I have an attorney looking at the situation, how we should proceed, because we should have our certificate of occupancy. We should have already had our final building inspection, and it's being held up by the inspector of our district. And he's of Jamaican origin, and I love my Jamaican Africans. Everybody know I love Jamaica. It's one of my favorite places to be in the world. I'm a very big deal in Jamaica. Jamaica is a very big deal to me. But unfortunately, I have a building inspector who is of Jamaican heritage who it does not show any signs whatsoever of being supportive of Dr. Umar in getting this final inspection and his certificate of occupancy. So that's what we're fighting now. The school is done. It's just sitting there, and we're trying to find out why this man hasn't contacted me to schedule a date to come in and do the inspection. But like I said, I have an attorney looking at it, and we'll see where it goes from here. But we're being held up from our building inspector, and I just hope and pray, Baba David, that this isn't another case of a black immigrant versus a black freedman, because I'm a Pan Africanist. I believe we are all one people. I don't care whether you was born in America, whether you came by ship, whether you came by plane, whether you came by boat. We are one people, one family, one race. But I must be honest with you, it is starting to look like a black immigrant versus a freedman type of a situation.
Well, you know, we talked about this.
So now all of a sudden he's a freeman. That's that DACA foolishness. But you see how he keeps saying immigrant, immigrant, immigrant. Then he says Jamaican, Jamaican, Jamaican. And all of a sudden Umar's a freeman. I thought he was an African. He all over the place with this foolishness. Now, let me show you all something. I'm going to break this down step by step, and then I'm going to show you some documentation. Okay, let's go back.
Focusing on FDMG, just to give you an update on FDMG, Bobby David, and we spoke last time I was on the show that on the Honorable Frederick Douglass's 200th, not his 200th, like his 207th birthday now, February 14th, we completed everything, you know, not
February 14th of 2026, but I have a video and I played it. I won't play it here to save some time. Back in 2023, Umar stated the same thing, that renovations were completed. Okay, we're in 2026. Renovations are not completed. That's why Umar hasn't done a walkthrough to show everything. He's only shown three rooms. That's it. He didn't show there's quite a few rooms in there that he hasn't shown that would be classrooms, but he didn't go in the bathrooms to show the bathrooms, what he calls the teacher's lounge. He didn't show the teacher's lounge. He didn't show the principal's office or the little office area where you come in and you go to the right. He didn't show any of that because he knows renovations aren't complete. This guy, he lies so much, it's crazy. It's so unnecessary. He didn't go all the way to the back to show the IT infrastructure. If renovations are complete, well, there should be IT infrastructure. Should be a backbone back there. It doesn't exist. That's why he won't show it. And Umar, he's so he's petty. I can be petty sometimes too, but he's so petty that if in fact renovations were completed, he would be gloating about it. He would be showing it every single day, walking through, talking shit, because you know that's what Umar does, right? Yeah, what the haters gonna say? Look, here's an IT room right here, and look right here, look at this classroom, and look at the office, look at these bathrooms, all the bathrooms. He would have done that, but he doesn't do that. Why not? Because renovations are not complete. He's lying to people. So again, when he says the renovation complete February 14th of 2026, that's not true. Furthermore, he stated that renovations were completed back in 2023, and clearly that's not true. Let's keep going.
Only the renovations, but also to clean out of the school. And we just ready now to decorate the school, but we have to get our final building inspection.
See, he's saying final building inspection, but that's not how this works. It's not one final inspection. See, I don't even know if Umar knows what this process is. Can I show y'all something? I'm gonna come back to this a little bit later on. Let me show y'all something. See, there's codes as well that apply. Not just inspections, but there's codes. I don't think Umar is aware of these codes either. The scope, real quick, Newcastle County Chapter 6 contains both the scoping requirements and the administrative provisions of the code. Below is a portion of the language which is intended to help determine what projects are regulated by this code. Okay, this is from Chapter 6. The scope, the provisions of this chapter shall apply to the design, construction, quality of materials, workmanship, alteration, movement, relocation, enlargement, replacement, repair, equipment, uses of occupancy, location, maintenance, removal and demolition of all premises, buildings, swimming pools, spas, systems and structures. It then goes further, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let me just read this, the building part. The provisions of the International Building Code shall apply to the construction, alteration, movement, relocation, enlargement, replacement, repair, equipment, use, and occupancy, location, maintenance, removal, and demolition of every building or structure or appurtenances, is that what that is? Connected or attached to such buildings or structure. exception. Okay, I don't have to get into that. Anyway, look, notice how it says mechanical. There's mechanical issues that need to be addressed. There's also plumbing. There's also gas. This is dealing with egress, exiting the building, energy conservation. Okay, and swimming pool doesn't apply. But Umar, I don't think he's aware of all this. This is for 2024. It applies for 2026. I think they update this every 3 years. Newcastle County gas pipe checklist. This is the checklist for the gas. Here's the checklist. This is the general checklist. Okay, general installation of HVAC equipment. There's installation of water heater. There's installation of I think it says borders. Here's a checklist, another checklist. General E&S controls, building, wall construction, egress elements, fire extinguisher, alarm, plumbing. See, he has to be able to, when the inspector comes, they have to be able to check this. And it's not just one inspector, too, by the way, but they have to be able to check each one of these off. And if any of this does not pass, then he's not going to get the certificate of occupancy. Here's another one. General, this is E&S controls, building area and type, walls. I think I already did this one. Plumbing, floor, ceiling assemblies. Oh, no, I haven't done this one. Above the ceiling, what's going on above the ceiling? Stairways. Here's another one. Determined planner and engineer assigned to project, place P. And okay, let me see. Applicant information, verify work started on site. So there has to be a site visit. If applicable, renew all required permits with applicant. Okay, that means a permit for HVAC, a permit for decorative appliance, and a permit for sewer and water, a permit for plumbing, a permit for hood type 1 or 10. Permit for refrigeration. Okay, Umar's not going to pass this right here. There's no way, because he hasn't pulled permits. You know, professionals haven't come through there to pull permits to cover all of this over the last 7 years. There should be many permits pulled at this point. If applicable, renew all required inspections and conditions with applicant, flooring, foundation, pre-slab. I can't read that. Lines and grades. A comm check on site, hood light, underground. Oh my goodness. Final electric, you know how Umar is saying a final inspection? That's not what this is. It's not a final inspection. All of this is part of the inspection. And there's different ones. A final for the certificate of occupancy, insulation, gas tests, DWI tests, monument certification, as built foundation survey. My goodness. Record plan for engineering, for planning, sewer and water, lateral, close-in, rough plumbing and HVAC, decorative appliance, balance report at the final, etc. Review requirements for, and it just goes on and on and on. Okay, Umar hasn't looked through this. See, what happens is you call, there's a number you call. You can actually set it up online too. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You can actually set up online. But you can call the number and you say, hey, listen, this is my address, and I want to set up inspections so that I can get a certificate of occupancy. It's not one final inspection. It's all of these different inspections. And there's checklists for each one. Umar's incompetent. It took me roughly 10 minutes to pull those receipts right there. See, Umar wouldn't be talking about a final inspection and talking about this process of how he's trying to communicate with this guy. That's not how this works. This is business. I don't think he cares for me. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It's business. There's a process. There's procedures. And Umar hasn't gone through this documentation to know what he needs to, because see, and furthermore, renovations aren't complete anyway. Even if they were completed, it's not going to matter because he didn't have professionals come in to do all of the work. That's automatic fail. And he knows that. So he has to concoct this excuse. Diabolical. Then you're going to throw black immigrants and a Jamaican brother under the bus. All right, let's keep going.
Certificate, just to keep the people aware of what's going on. The building inspector for our district, Bobby David. I don't think he's a Dr. Umar supporter at all. He is a black man, and he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country.
Okay, notice he says he's a black man and he's a descendant of immigrants who came to this country. What does that have to do with anything? If it's true, he's setting this up. What does that have to do with anything? What difference would that make if he's a descendant of an immigrant? Unless Umar's trying to spin a narrative, xenophobia. All of a sudden, too, by the way, he's a Pan Africanist, right? He's trying to spin a narrative that the reason why there's this delay for the certificate of occupancy and the inspection, he says inspections, is because this black immigrant is somehow against black Americans. This is really shady what he's doing here.
And I think that he is either he himself came to the country or he is the descendant of immigrants who.
See, notice now he's saying, and I think. That's why I think he's making this up, but it still has the same effect. He says, I think he himself is an immigrant. Okay, which one is it? And how would you know that? What you called him and, hey, yeah, are you an immigrant? No, that's not how this works. These are professionals. But you see how Umar all of a sudden, now he's trying to extend it a little bit further. He's a descendant of immigrants. Now all of a sudden, he himself may be, I think. See that? He may be an immigrant himself or a descendant. Which one is it? See, this is all manipulation right here. That's all this is.
Came to this country respectfully.
And he says respectfully because he's being disrespectful. I'm telling you guys, Umar is the great deceiver of our time in the black conscious space. See, never take anything that he said, because he lies so much and he tells on himself too. He self-exposes respectfully. What are you talking about respectfully?
Certificate of occupancy, and just to keep the people aware of what's going on, the building inspector for our district, Bobby David, I don't think he's a Dr. Umar supporter at all. He is a black man, and he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country. And I think that he is either he himself came to the country or he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country respectfully.
Respectfully, this guy.
And he doesn't really care for me, to be honest with you. And I noticed just.
He doesn't care for you? Why? Why would you say that? How do you know that? I think he's making all this up, to be honest with you.
By his behavior over the 7 years that we've had at school.
Behavior over the last 7 years? What are you talking about? See, there's no need to be talking with an inspector for 7 years when you didn't even start, Umar didn't even start renovations until 2021, right? What are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense. See, I know the history. I've done the research. I can pull up the video right now where he starts renovations. Okay, I don't have to spin false narratives or take a clip out of context or play this to make it seem like he said, no, I don't have to do that. But I can pull up the receipt when he started renovations. So it makes no sense. Why would you be talking to someone for a 7 years? For what? And you said you didn't finish renovations until February 14th of 2026. What would you be talking? Why are you going to be talking to him for 7 years? And if you want to go when Umar stated renovations were done back in 2023, why would you be talking with him at that time? What, 2019 to 2020, about 4 years? Why would you keep talking to him 4 or 5 years? 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 years. What's there to talk about? They got stuff to do. These are professionals. They got to go do other inspections. They got time to be chit-chat with Umar for what? So that you guys can get to know each other? I don't get it. What, you guys are gonna go out and I don't know, go have some drinks or I don't know what people do these days. I don't know. Let me stop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I just wanted to check in on you, see how you doing. Everything okay? Inserted for the inspector. Everything okay, inspector? Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm just checking it. You want, hey, listen, you want to go get some, I don't know, you want to go get some fish? We go to the fish fry. Come on now. That's not how this works. Ridiculous. Let's keep going.
The last time I saw him was on March 10th. We did a walk through the building. He told me he would.
Last time you saw him was March 10th. Where'd you see him at? See, he didn't say nothing about no inspections. Wait a minute. Let me go back. This guy, he just, last time I saw him was March 10th. We went to go watch some movies and eat popcorn. Cut it out.
Decorate the school, but we have to get our final building inspection and our certificate of occupancy. And just to keep the people aware of what's going on, the building inspector for our district, Bobby David, I don't think he's a Dr. Umar supporter at all. He is a black man, and he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country. And I think that he is either he himself.
Somebody said he saw him in his mama closet. Let me stop, because yesterday we got so crazy. Let me stop. I got to stay out
or
here.
he is the descendant of immigrants who came to this country respectfully, and he doesn't really care for me, to be honest with you. And I noticed just by his behavior over the 7 years that we've had the school. The last time I saw him was on March 10th. We did a walk.
Okay, so March 10th of 2026, he's saying he did a walkthrough. Yeah, but then you said that you've been talking with him for 7 years, and if he did a walkthrough on March 10th, wouldn't that mean that he's down for the cause? This is not how this works either. It's not a final inspection like I showed you. Like the paperwork I showed you, that's not like they've come through and they go through all that at one time, because there's different inspectors that come out. What I mean by that is, in fact, so there's someone who comes to do because not one person is going to have expertise in the plumbing and the electric and the HVAC and the fire, whatever else. They're not going to have expertise in all of that. So they have specific people who come out, including a fire marshal is involved with all of this. So Umar, how he's explaining this, that's not even how this process works. And I know that, even though I'm not the one who's collected millions of dollars to open up a school and been sitting on these trap bundles for 7 years. Umar is incompetent. See, I have a sense that Umar's incompetency is what leads him to make up these lies to cover for his incompetence. Y'all hear me on that? Hit the one. All of the lies that Umar generates, what it really comes down to is that he's a perpetual failure. But instead of acknowledging that and owning up to it, he has to deflect. He has to make it appear as if someone's trying to sabotage him. It's, someone is trying to just block him from this and block him from that. No, it's not. He just doesn't know what he's doing. That's all this is. He never knew what he was doing. He still don't know what he's doing. But instead of owning up to it like a 50-year-old man should, he has to start making up lies like a 5-year-old who stole the candy. It's on the mama saw him steal the candy. I didn't steal the candy. I don't even know what a candy is. It was probably a leprechaun that came through. The kid 5-year-old starts sniffing and blinking. It's probably a leprechaun came and ate the candy and then jumped out the window. No. I just saw you. You didn't see me. I'm invisible. See, that's Umar. I'm telling you. He's just 51. He's 51 and does it. All right, let's go.
Through the building, he told me he would give me a phone call because my whole thing is where we are now, we're ready.
Why would he have to give you a phone call if you just met with them March 10th of 2026? That doesn't make any sense either.
Behavior over the 7 years that we've had the school. The last time I saw him was on March 10th. We did a walk through the building. He told me he would give me a phone call.
That's not how this process works. What are you talking about? Umar, you talking like you in some relationship or some shit. We walked through and he said he was going to give me a phone call that evening, but he didn't call me. No, that's not how this works. This is business. Cut it out.
Of immigrants who came to this country respectfully.
What's up, Sweet Tea?
And he doesn't really care for me, to be honest with you. And I noticed just by his behavior over the 7 years that we've had the school. The last time I saw him was on March 10th. We did a walk through the building. He told me he would give me a phone call because my whole thing is where we are now. We're ready for our inspection and we're ready for our certificate of occupancy.
Okay, listen, I already know the process. You either call the number that I called today and you tell them that you're ready for inspections to get the certificate of occupancy. It's not one inspection, like I said before, and they'll put you on the schedule and they'll let you know when they will send the first person out. It's that simple. Or you can actually go online without even making a phone call and you can schedule it that way. That's it. See, real quick, I want us to, let's think rationally here and logic and reason real quick. Because a lot, when you're dealing with business and in particular, when you're dealing with regulations like state regulations and regulating bodies and anything dealing with that, efficiency is one of the most important aspects of this because you have to be able to service as many buildings as an inspector as possible. Because it's not like there's 50,000 inspectors for 50,000 buildings. Okay, I'm exaggerating. Let's say 5,000 inspectors for 5,000 buildings. That's not how it works. Okay, I'll say it that way. So the point that I'm making here is that if we talk about efficiency, these inspectors don't have time to hold Umar's hand and to return phone calls for no good reason or to meet with him to do walkthroughs. That's not how this works. It's business, and efficiency is the key because they got other buildings they got to go look at. But Umar, for whatever reason, when he concocts these stories, they're lies. He has to make it seem as if he's so special and he's supposed to get some special dispensation and they're coming and they're meeting with him. And that's not how it works, because in the bigger scheme of things, when we talk about efficiency, if these inspectors did that with everyone, nothing would ever get done. Y'all see my point? That's not how this process works. You make the phone call, you let them know where the building is and the inspection, because you need to get the certificate of occupancy. They'll put you on the schedule. They're not going to be they ain't trying to take you out to eat or nothing, Umar. They're not trying to go, bring you roses and go, none of that. And then when they come to inspection, they don't even want to talk with you about nothing because they already know what they're looking for and they got to be efficient with their time because they got to go to the next building. See, again, Umar is incompetent. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Businesses don't work. Now, if you're in a business where it's like interpersonal, you got to be personal. I can see that holding people's hand. But this is inspecting buildings. They ain't got nothing to do with holding people's hand and calling you back for nothing. Why would he listen? Real quick, what would be the purpose of him calling Umar back? Get your ass on the schedule and then let the thing go. And ain't no need to call nobody back. What you gonna call you back for? Okay.
He said he would get back to me. It's been almost a month. He has not gotten back to me yet.
A month. Well, why don't you just go on the website then, Umar, and go do it on the website? You ain't got, allegedly, the person who said he gonna call you back, you ain't even got to wait on that.
This is not the first time I've asked him to get in contact with me.
That's not how it works. You acting like you in a relationship with the dude.
There's been times before where I've asked him to get in contact with me. Once I asked him to do a pre-walkthrough. There's a couple.
No, listen, there's no pre-walkthrough. What are you talking about, Umar? That's not how this, for what? What they gonna do a pre-walkthrough for? They got other stuff to do.
4 years ago, I wanted him to do a pre-walk.
A couple of years ago. Why would you ask him to do a pre-walkthrough a couple of years ago? When you said that renovations were complete February 14th of 2026.
Baba, to tell us if there's anything he thinks we need to focus on.
Okay, that's not how that works. That's what the general contractor is there for. See, this is some bullshit. Hit the one. See, that's what I'm saying. Umar's making all this up, but it still has the same effect. But the fact that he would throw a black immigrant under the bus in order to come up with this excuse is just horrible. A Jamaican brother. He gonna do this to a Jamaican brother. And I guarantee you that there's Jamaicans who support Umar, who sent this clown donations. I want y'all to think about this for a moment. An inspector, a building inspector's job is to do what? Logic and reason. A building inspector's job is to inspect the building. When do these building inspectors come out to inspect the building? Whether it's for the plumbing or it's for the electric or if it's for the HVAC or whatever the case may be. They do that after renovations are complete. They don't show up to a building just because, I don't know, you get special dispensation. Again, this is a narcissism with Umar. He thinks he's special and he should be treated special. They're not going to come. You say, hey, listen, can you come and take a look at this building? I just want you to tell us what we need to focus on. That's not how this works. That's what the general contractor is there for. Hit the one. Now, listen, let me tell y'all something. I'm not into construction. I'm not into any of that. But I've done research over the years because of Umar. And even I know, and I'm not the brightest bulb inside the drawer. Did I say that right? I'm not the sharpest pencil inside of the computer screen. But I know for a fact that the building inspectors, their job is not to come through to give you advice on what you need to do prior to you finishing renovations. That's what the general contractor's job is. And the general contractors come through and they will put together an itemized, and I told Umar this shit years ago. Hit the one. I told him this years ago. Get a general contractor. See, that's why even to this day in 2026, over 7 years after he got these trap bandos, Umar still does not have an itemized list of everything that needs to be done in these stank, funky trap bandos. But somehow he thinks that the building inspectors who are coming to do their checklists, they're going to be coming there to tell him what he needs to focus on to pass. See, Umar, you sound like you need a tutor. I got kids. That's what it sounds like. You need a tutor. Because you don't know what you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You still don't have an itemized list. You think the building inspector's job is to do the job of the general contractor. See, with the general contractor, they're gonna walk through. They're gonna look at, hey, okay, you see that right there? That needs to be fixed right there. They're gonna be writing stuff down. That needs to be fixed right there. This right here is electric, so we're gonna get an electrician to do that. Okay, this right here, the plumbing right here, we're gonna get a specific. We're gonna get the plumber. Okay, that's for the plumber's job. Okay, this right here, HVAC. Okay, we're gonna get this ductwork needs to be fixed too. That's gonna be the HVAC. What Umar calls HVAC technician. You guys understand what I'm saying here? This drywall right here got mold on it. We're gonna have some people come out. I already have people queued up because part of my business, I outsource. They come on in and there's, they're gonna I'll pull the permits. That's their job. That's not the person who comes with their checklist to see if everything's up to code. That's not their job, Umar. Their job is to come through and be like, hey, listen, that right there passes, that passes. They go down their checklist. They know exactly what they're looking for. And it's not just one person. And they, See, Umar think in his story, they're going, Umar, I found this right here. It needs to be fixed. And this is what you need to do in order to get it fixed. And I'm going to find the person who's going to fix it for you. That's the general contractor's job in advance of the inspectors coming. See, that's why I already told people Umar knows that he's not going to pass the inspection. But he's concocting this story as if it's an inspector's fault. They're the ones who's supposed to tell him what he needs to do. And they're the ones who are supposed to give him advice. That's not how this works. I'll propose that the inspectors, their knowledge of construction may be limited compared to a general. I'm sure it is compared to a general contractor, right? If you ask, real quick, I don't mean to belabor this, but if you ask someone who's coming out to do the inspection, you say, "Hey, listen, the plumbing, how do I fix this plumbing situation?" They're not going to be able to tell you that. That's not their job. That's not their expertise. You know, this HVAC unit, we need one more piece to it. We need one more piece. I don't know what the piece is. Can you tell me what the piece is? That's not their expertise. They're trained for a specific job. Now, they probably would know more than your average person. They would know more than I would in terms of, you know, HVAC or plumbing or the electric, whatever. But that's not their expertise. And they're not there to give you advice. And whatever doesn't pass, you will see it on the checklist. They will produce a report, and you look at the report, and then you take that report to who? Who do you take the report to? You take it to your general contractor, Umar. Umar's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. All right. Let's get back to, I know I got a gang of super chats. We're going to get into that. I just want to get through this video. Okay. We're going to get to them. Here we go.
And he said he would get back to me, and he never did. And I have a whole list of things that he's done through the years that were kind of, you know, a little bit, that just kind of showed me that he wasn't particularly supportive or interested in helping us get our.
Okay, their job is not to help you get your certificate of occupancy, Umar. That's not their job. Their job is to do the inspections. That's it. I don't understand this. I really don't with Umar. I think he's lying. He's making up this false narrative, but I think Umar thinks he's special because all throughout this Umar Johnson saga, he always seems to believe that somehow people are supposed to treat him special. Like last year when they was going to sell these trap bundles because of non-payment for different bills, Umar was like, "Well, I just paid the water bill. Can you give me a discount on this other bill because I just paid the water bill?" That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I wish I could use that excuse. I was paying some bills today. The electric bill was like $240-something. And right before that, I paid the phone bills because we got a gang of phone for all these kids and stuff. I just paid that. So what am I going to do when I get to the power company? Hey, listen, I just paid the cell phone bill. If you can give me a discount on this, I wish I could. That's great. Anybody or anyone, I don't know, maybe y'all able to do it. I've tried. Your phone company like, "What are you talking about, sir?" Hey, listen, I'm just telling you, I just paid this electric bill and it was cold last month. So we was running that heat. So can you give me a discount on this? Please, because I really need to. The guy on the phone was like, "Is this Umar?" I said, "Nah." Don't do that. Don't do, you tripping now. You don't do me like that. All right. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Building inspection. So right now I have an attorney looking at the situation.
See, so now he wants to bring in the attorney thing. This is, again, all of this is regurgitation with Umar. Because when he said that I hacked his bum-ass bank account, I still don't get that. Listen, I would never do no hacking. I have a degree in cybersecurity. I wouldn't do it because the risk of it all. I ain't never been to jail. I never been arrested. I'm not trying to, at my age, I'm not trying to do that. I ain't never tried to get arrested. But I'm saying, I got 5 kids and a wife. I ain't got no time for no foolishness like that. But you remember, he was like, "Yeah, he hacked my bank account." Then he says, "But we're gonna get because he was trying to get donations so that he can get a lawyer." Doesn't this sound familiar? So here he goes again. Umar, who's this lawyer then? No, this is just Umar. Listen, we can go back years. Some of y'all been around a long time. Lewis Luck, Information Man, Black Anonymous. The list goes on and on. If you've been around a long time, you'll see this same playbook roll out over and over. A lady, another example. You'll see it over and over and over again. Brother James, same thing. You'll see it over and over and over again with this guy. It's a playbook because he never wants to hold himself accountable for anything, and he always acts as if he's being sabotaged. No, he's incompetent. That's all.
How we should proceed, because we should have our certificate of occupancy.
Listen, you don't get a certificate of occupancy unless you pass inspections, but you haven't started that process of getting the inspections. And all you got to do is either call the phone number and they'll put you on the schedule, or you do it online and they'll put you on the schedule. That's it. It's that simple. All this extraneous, calling and meeting at the club or whatever he was doing with this guy. That's just fantasy land. That's not going to happen. He didn't call me. He didn't. Stop.
We should have already had our final building inspection.
It's not a final one. It's a gang of them. Cut it out.
And it's being held up by the inspector.
See, and there it is. It's always someone else's fault. The blueprints. Didn't we put together a list too, by the way? I thought we put together a list of this last week. Maybe we didn't. I thought we did. Yeah, blueprints. Getting the HVAC was another one. Being held up. You guys remember that if you've been around for a while? He was the HVACer scammed him, and that held things up. The electricians were stealing from the building, so that was holding things up. The plumber scammed him. That was holding things up. I'm just looking at some of the other ones on here. I thought we didn't put together a list of that. But this does apply. This does apply. What we put together was examples of Umar and the illusion of progress. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's finish this up.
Of our district, and he's of Jamaican origin, and I love my.
See, he has to say Jamaican origin. That's thoroughly irrelevant. There's no need to even say that, but he's setting it up as if it's black people here in the United States of America versus black immigrants. And more specifically, when Umar calls it DACA, which stands for, and he made this up recently, DACA stands for descendants of African freedmen in America. So now it's descendants of African freedmen in America versus black immigrants from other places, including Jamaica. So that's how he's setting this up.
Jamaican Africans. Everybody know I love Jamaica. It's one of my favorite places to be in the world. I'm a very big deal in Jamaica. Jamaica is a very big deal to me. But unfortunately, I have a building inspector who is of Jamaican heritage.
See that? And this is crazy because he named the school after Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is from Jamaica, right? It's crazy. Crazy.
Who does not show any signs whatsoever of being supportive of Dr. Umar in getting this final inspection and his certificate of occupancy. So that's what we're fighting now. The school is done. It's just sitting there. And we're trying to find out why this man hasn't contacted me to schedule a date to come.
That's not how it works. They put you on the schedule, or you go on the internet and you go put yourself on the schedule. This guy, he's such a liar. That's why I'm saying I don't believe this story, but it still has the same effect. He's still setting this dynamic up of being sabotaged by this black immigrant from Jamaica. And he's supposed to be a Pan Africanist. See, this goes to show you how Umar will stoop to the depths of delusion, depravity, and disrespect by reaching so low to where now he wants to blame Black immigrants and concocting a story that actually makes Black immigrants look bad, but also makes Jamaicans look bad. I mean, you really have to stoop to really low levels in order to do something like that, and all to avoid holding himself accountable for being both incompetent and being a failure. That's deep. Clock it. Now, watch what happens. Okay, we're almost done.
I'm in a duty inspection, but like I said, I have an attorney looking at it, and we'll see where it goes from here. But we're being held up from our building inspector, and I just hope and pray, Baba David, that this isn't another case of a Black immigrant versus a Black freedman, because I'm a...
Another case? What are you talking about? See, now he's calling himself a Black freedman, but it's supposed to be a descendant of African freedmen in America. Which one is it? Now you Black all of a sudden? Thought you was African. By the way, there are people who took, there are people who took offense of some of the comments I made yesterday about how when I can, it's not all the time, but that people in Africa, because in Africa, there's the people who look a whole bunch of different ways. To me, they look different than African Americans, meaning Africans here, if you want to call it Africans here in the United States of America, who have a lineage of being enslaved and have been here, their ancestors have been here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 generations. And there were people who took offense to that. I'm not here to offend anyone, and I want to apologize if anyone took offense to that. I was just making a statement that, at least for me, I can kind of tell. Okay, just like I can tell the difference in general between someone who is Korean and let's say Japanese. I can tell the difference. Okay? But I don't want people, please don't take offense. I'm not with the whole division thing anyway, and I don't prescribe to the social construct of race either. I play the game, okay, but I don't prescribe to it. I don't want people to think that somehow I'm against this group or against. That's not the case at all. I have ancestry who my great grandfather came over from Africa, and my great grandmother came over from Africa, and then I have ancestors who were enslaved and were brought over here to the United States of America. Okay, so please. I don't want anyone to take offense. Okay? Here we go.
Pan Africanists, I believe we are all one people. I don't care whether you was born in America, whether you came by ship, whether you came by plane, whether you came.
Well, see, if it doesn't matter, why did he bring up immigrants though? You see what I'm saying? This is Umar trying to cover things up.
By boat, we are one people, one family, one race. But I must be honest with you, it is starting to look like a Black immigrant versus a freedman type of a situation.
Yeah, so you see what he's doing. He's setting this up. He's setting all this up, right? Yeah. It's just people take offense, and I don't want people to do that. It's not necessary. Same thing. Like I can tell, like if I listen to someone. Well, let me do it this way. The two things I can tell when someone. I know this makes because people it's racist. No, it's not. I can tell if someone's talking. I don't have to see them, and I can tell if they're Black or not. And it could be someone who grew up around white people and went to prestigious schools and all that. But that's a brother. So that now does that mean every time 100%? Probably not. Okay, but within reason, the accuracy is there. Well, I could tell. Same thing. Let me give you another example. I can tell like women from the island. If I hear them talk, if they're from the islands, I can kind of tell because my wife. It's not as pronounced, but I can hear it just by because we've been together now for 25 years. There's certain things that she say, the way she say it is different than how where I come from. We say stuff, you know what I'm saying? So you will hear it's subtle sometimes. I like it too, because that's why I try to have her talk to me in patois, but she won't do it because it activates my sack. I'm just being honest about it. She won't do it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but I could tell it's subtle, but I can. But so then when I hear someone from the islands, because I've been around my wife for so long, I said, oh, they're from the islands somewhere. And then even more specifically, if there's people who are from the islands, they could tell based upon what island a person is from, where I wouldn't be able to tell. You know, they'd be like, oh, that person is from St. Croix or that person is from here or there. I don't have that. My wife probably could tell, but I can't. One other example, because I just don't want people to take offense. One other example is in Southern California, we talk a specific way. Whenever I hear someone from Southern California, it could be someone who's Mexican from Southern California. Right away, I'll know. Well, that's because I'm from Southern California and I grew up around a lot of Mexicans. Real talk. And then when I, like, for instance, I even listened to like even I had cousins from Oakland. They didn't necessarily sound, it's different. It's different. And they would use different words than what we would use. They would say hecka a lot, like hecka this and hecka. I said, what the fuck are you talking? But they say hecka. So whenever I hear that hecka and the way they say it, I say, oh, you from the Bay Area, right? So anyway, I can kind of tell those types of things. Okay, and it's just, I don't want people to take offense. It doesn't mean that people from Southern California are better than or less than anybody else. It's just, you know, perceptions and being able to see things a certain type of way. Anyway, I'll leave it right there. Yeah, Chicago too. Yep. Same thing down south. You know, the way people talk, you know, because we stayed in Atlanta for a while. Oh, they must be from Atlanta, somewhere around there. You know, you can just kind of pick the same thing in New York. Very but then people in New York, they could probably tell even more. Like, oh, no, that person is from the Bronx. That person's blah blah blah. Anyway, let's get back to it. Powerful. All right. What's up, Jonathan? Okay, let's go.
Well, you know, we talked about this last week also, that you don't have to be white to be anti-black. You could be black and still be anti-black. But we got to take.
See, now, so I mean by it's dangerous because you see how easily Umar has influenced Father David to go right on into this narrative about, it's xenophobic, about Black Americans, or in this case, Umar's talking about Dafa, which is descendants of African freedmen and American, versus these other Black people who are immigrants, and in this case from Jamaica. How just because they're Black doesn't mean that they're not going to go against you. You see how that happened? Just like that. Dangerous.
Take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation with Dr. Umar Tunde Johnson right here on New World View. And last week we talked about how, you know, there are a lot of too many Africans born in America that are anti-Black, just like there are some white people that are anti-Black. And then you get on those jobs, and some of those Black people on the job, they say, "Yeah, master, I made sure we got him. I'm telling on him so that you can get rid of."
What you talking about? I can tell Father David ain't worked the job in a long time.
So that maybe I'll be the good token Negro around here, because some.
Stop this! I'm so tired of this old slave narrative talk. I don't mean it's not slave. I apologize. I'm doing too much. But you guys know what I'm saying. I'm so tired of this type of shit. You know, and you know, you got a job, and you know this old, and it's all negative about Black people. These Negroes, why are you talking like that? You're supposed to be Black empowerment, but all you do is talk shit about Black people and how bad Black people are to make you feel better about your. Let me stop. I'm so tired of that.
Some people,
Baba David,
yes.
I don't want to forget, Baba, and it just occurred to me, and I would be so remiss in my duties if I forgot to mention this. On Thursday coming, Baba David, this is very important for all your listeners, whether they live in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, D.C., New York, Connecticut, anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic region, and anywhere around the country for that matter. I'm going to be hosting 2 free Black parents Know Your School Rights seminars, Baba David. This is free training. It's going to be on Thursday, April the 9th.
Yeah, and we're almost done with this segment, but I just want to be clear about something. The reason why I wanted to play this again is because this is what took place before. Again, Umar, he rehashes things over and over again. Because when COVID was taking place, that should have been the primary time where he should have been focusing on renovations, but that's not what he was doing. He was traveling and he was doing these Black parent boot camps. Anyone remember that hit the one? He was trying to do, I think he said 48 states or 47 states or something like that. And he was going to be teaching Black parents, whatever this information is, but that's all time that should have gone towards renovations. Umar he was never serious. He was never, a lot of y'all remember this. Okay, so now this is him bringing that back now. And I'm not saying that he's going to try to make this into a world tour. Well, it wasn't a world tour, it was here in the United States. I'm not saying that that's not what he's going to do here this time. What I think is that Umar, he's just testing the waters right now. That if he gets a big reception for this time around, that he'll try to plan more of these. Okay, but meanwhile, renovations aren't complete. Meanwhile, he wouldn't be. He would, if he did that, he wouldn't be focusing on getting these trap bandos up to code. That's the real issue. They're not up to code, right? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But that's precisely what he did back in the day. He's trying to reinvent it again.
This coming Thursday, April the 9th, and next Thursday, April the 16th. Part 1 will be this Thursday,
Domo.
April the 9th. Part 2 will be next Thursday, April the 16th. Both seminars will be in Camden from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. And I'm going to give the address out of this.
What's up, Black Wolf?
Free. This Thursday seminar will be at the Imani Community Fellowship. Imani Community Fellowship, 3901 Westfield Avenue. Imani Community Fellowship, 3901 Westfield Avenue. And next Thursday, April 16th, same time, but different place. It will be at the Camden High Campus. Camden High Campus, 1700 Park Boulevard. Both trainings are in Camden. Both trainings are the next 2 Thursdays. Both trainings are from...
Yeah, Sports Bet. He said this many times. For years. You know, I want you guys to come out because this is the final year. He even had a whole final... Listen, if anyone's been around, kid you not, Umar had he called it something like the grand finale or some stupid shit. That's what he called it. And it was supposed to be like him letting go of all this speaking stuff so that he can focus on FDMG. And then he does the lecture, and then right after that, he's keep the next year, because it was at the end of the year. It was supposed to be like this big thing. And then right after, and in January, he go right back to talks doing, and he's still doing it to this day. Yeah, he was on his KISS tour, the final tour. He called it something like that, for final tour or final countdown, the song or whatever. How's it going, Island Gal? That's what I'm saying. My wife, she'll say stuff like that. Gal. Okay.
4 to 8, but different location. If anybody needs the flyer, please text my cell phone, 215-989.
What's up, Big Mix?
That is 215-989-9858. Philadelphia parents, you know, Camden is right over the bridge, easy to get to, free seminar, no excuse.
Umar was doing a John Cena farewell tour.
If you don't understand special ed, if you don't understand autism, if you don't
this is it.
understand
That's what it was.
right that you have, if you don't understand the psychological evaluation, if you don't understand ADHD,
I know Jimmy Jam Reed know about some kids because he got a slayer
I'm
on
tired
there.
of parents, Baba, saying they don't know what to do. Well, you're going to get a free training from Dr. Umar.
Letty says 215 scammer. All right. I had a crush on this Mexican young lady. We was kids, so girl. Her name was Letty, but her brothers were cholos. So it wasn't nothing happening because they was mean. Anyway, her name was Letty Martinez. I remember to this day.
I don't want to hear no excuses. I had to go work, take off. I had to go to church. This is more important that day. Whatever you got going on, no excuses. 2 trainings. April 9th, April 16th, 4 to 8, Camden, New Jersey. No excuses. Text me for the flyer.
Do you have to be a parent to attend?
No, sir. Anybody can attend. Anyone who wants to know how to be an advocate for our children in these schools, because these
Father David on his phone playing word search.
schools are still putting our children in special ed, Baba David. Black charter schools are doing it. White charter schools are doing it. Public schools are doing it. Everybody is cashing in on black kids to get some extra money. And our parents, Baba, need to learn,
including Umar,
how to just say no. You can say no to the psychological evaluation. You can say no to the ADHD evaluation. You can say no to the preschool.
You can say no to FDMG
evaluation. They need to learn how to say no. And if your child does have a disability, or if you suspect that your child really does have a disability, I'm going to teach them all of the safeguards, all of the steps they need to take to ensure
you need to go take care of your kids.
That your child is not being exploited, or that they're being overly classified or overly diagnosed. If you got a 5 or 6, 7-year-old child, Baba David, they're walking around with 4 or 5 disabilities, I believe that is overkill. That is overkill. Your child ain't got no 4 or 5 disabilities. The problem is they're loading them up like that so they can get all the money possibly for
But
your
I don't
students,
even know what
and then
snake
they wanna
is.
put
I
them
know-
in a separate
I know
classroom
it's
because the teacher
something.
don't want to be bothered with them. So we're going to
Right.
go through the laws. We're going to go through the policies. We're going to go through the different.
Yeah,
buildings.
yeah.
We're
Cultivate
gonna
it's
go
the
through
same
steps.
stuff over and
My
over
training
again.
is normally
Yeah.
about 12 hours.
What's up,
Bob.
100%
I'm gonna
real
shrink
man?
it down to 8.
Mhm.
And it's going to be 4 hours this Thursday, April 9th. 4 hours.
Let's get
this
to the
Thursday,
part. Then we
April
gonna be
16th,
over
Camden,
there.
New Jersey.
Afro
No
Punk Chick says
excuses.
no
Text me
kids,
if
no
y'all want the
problem.
flyer.
Yeah,
There is a registration link. We do want people to register to make sure we have
Oh,
enough
no kids.
materials and things there. So
He's
please
playing no
register. You
kids
can text me
snake.
for that link as well.
Okay.
Or you can go to
Okay. All right.
CamdenPSU.com.
Man, that's okay. Okay.
CamdenPSU.com.
So you say that you will teach the parents how to say no. Will you also teach them how to say no to conversion therapy?
No, this is true.
Well,
CM
that's
McCoy.
it.
Yeah,
We
very,
don't
very
deal
true.
with conversion therapy in the school system, Baba. But to that point,
In fact, even back in the videos that I'm watching, reviewing now for the doc, and actually, I just let people know I did get through 2012. Okay, so I have to record the voiceovers and then put that into the timeline, and then the next segment will be close to being ready. Okay, but what I want to say was the videos that I'm watching from 2012, because Umar, he's moved away from a lot of this rhetoric about the school to prison pipeline, special education, misdiagnoses. He's moved away from that over the years. But back then he was into it heavy because that's really kind of how he got his inroads into the Black conscious space. But when I was looking at the videos from 2012, even back then, he was outdated. He was calling kids retarded and all this kind of stuff. And I apologize. Okay. But that's the type of terminology that he was using. He was outdated back in 2012, which makes sense because he only worked as a school psychologist in the Philadelphia school district from 2001 through 2006, and then intermittently in the charter school system from 2006 through 2010. So it's not like Umar has like this it's not like he had an expansive career. And if you go back to 2012 and listen to his rhetoric, you can go back to 2011 and 2010, but 2012 in particular, that's the time where I'm at in the timeline. He was outdated back then. He gets his PsyD that same year, but he doesn't work as a school psychologist. He's unemployed at that time. He doesn't keep up with his continuing education. Currently, he doesn't hold any professional certifications, even though he claims that he does. He's outdated and has been since at least 2012. All right.
I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if you saw the recent Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court just struck down state laws that ban psychologists and other therapists from engaging the
What's up,
LGBTQ
Kiara?
population with conversion therapy. Remember, under Obama and under Joe Biden, you could not do conversion.
Yeah, we could. There's one other part I want to play. We can skip this, but I don't know where he's at. So let's just bear with me, okay? We got over 1,000 people in the building. There is a poll question. The poll question is: do you believe Umar Johnson's story about the Jamaican building inspector sabotaging FDMG? 93% said no. 7% said yes. I don't even think any of this happened. I think he's making all this up. But to throw Black immigrants under the bus like that and Jamaican, even though it's hypothetical. To throw a Jamaican, it's horrible for him to do that. Okay, but he has a history of these types of shenanigans. That's Umar. Okay? So get your vote in. Also, our goal for this live stream is 400 likes. If you're enjoying the show at any point during this live stream, go on and hit that like button. We're at 312. We have an outside chance to get to 400. Let's keep going. Here we go.
Therapy with LGBTQ. It was illegal to do therapy with a homosexual or lesbian who says, "I don't want to be this anymore, and I want you to help me." Transform back into what I was when I was born. That was made illegal all across the country under Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Well, Donald Trump's Supreme Court just reversed that decision. It was, I forget which state it was, but they struck it down. Someone took the state.
Let me skip
and
through.
I think that ruling in and of itself, that in court, this whole right now, and I support them both.
You have other people that,
Here, go right here.
so you believe and you love completely everybody.
Watch this.
School and everything. And
Go ahead, Thelma.
what I wanted to say.
So remember, Umar's already painted this narrative about Black immigrants against Black Americans, or what he calls freedmen, because now he's part of this. He created this thing within the last 4 months, maybe 3 months. It's called DAFA. I thought it was DACA, but DAFA, which means descendants of African freedmen in America. And he's making a distinction between black people who are descendants of African freedmen in America, between that group and black immigrants. So just in just a very short period of time, Umar's already set this up, and he's told this story. It's a lie in my opinion, but he tells the story, and Father David goes right on into it. He accepts it and he goes into it. He placates to Umar, and then this caller does the same thing, just like that. Dangerous. Watch this.
To Mr. Umar, such an intelligent man, beyond belief, that I'm hearing. With his school and everything, I feel as though, with my...
Ma'am, it's not a school. I'm so tired of this. It's not a school. They're abandoned buildings. Not one black child has been educated in 7 years and 2 months. In 2010, he said the school was going to open September 11, 2013. What you talking about? If in 2010 you say you're going to open up a school in 2013 and we're in 2026 and not one black child's been in education, there ain't no school. Where's the school at? A school is a place of learning, ma'am. Go look it up. Has anyone, real quick, Jonathan, Hustle Girl, Kiara, Hey Miss, Leslie, Jimmy, John Marie, has anyone seen one black child be educated up at these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware? See, that's how you know you get old, when you start. Okay. Has anyone? No, you haven't. So then how can you say it's a school? A school should have teachers. Where's the teachers at? In 2026, a school should have some Chromebooks somewhere or computers somewhere. Where the computers at? Ma'am, I don't mean to be like that, but I'm so tired because these grown people. Y'all supposed to be grown. I'm not here to shame anyone, but you got to have some sense. It's 2026. But listen to what she say. Watch this.
Angelo, they bring up that, when you see a person show you who they are, that to believe them, because...
Yeah, well, ma'am, why don't you apply that to Umar? This guy gets online talking about the JJ 15 times a month. He always talking about crushing cookies, which is a euphemism for the vajayjay. He's a colorist. He even classifies y'all's cookies, ma'am, based upon skin color. Hot fudge, pina colada, warm salt, warm peanut butter. It's all this freak, P. Diddy freak type shit. One time he said green pistachio. I said, word, because it reminded me of Star Trek, the green women. They be dancing and stuff. Think they're the Orion ones? Is that what is it, the Orion ones? Anyway, that's the pistachio. The point I'm making, ma'am, is if you're going to say, when they show you who you are, let them see you, or whatever you said, okay, Maya Angelou, why don't you apply that to Umar? This guy don't take care of his kids. He a deadbeat. He got at least three baby mamas in Philadelphia alone, and the fourth woman tried to put him on child support. He stank. He listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. Ma'am, I'm going to tell everybody something. Umar's a skeezer. He's a skank and a skeezer. So why don't you apply that to Umar? I kid you not. He said hot salt, and I was thinking about it. Yeah, you would say that. Stuff. And I was thinking, I said, what is that? What is hot salt? One time he said vanilla chocolate or something. I said, what you mean vanilla chocolate? Sound like you want a white woman. That's okay. Go and get you a white woman. You'll be happier because that's all that anger that you got is because that's what you desire, but you done painted yourself in a box. You can't. That's your fault. All that sexual tension. Go and get you a white woman. Get one that can make pancakes and shit. You be, cheese casserole. You be good. All right. No, I don't think he ever said Neapolitan. No, he did. He did say lemonade queens. It's all colorism too. He said, yeah, he did. Yeah, African vanilla. That's what he said. he also said Uncle Nancy, but we ain't gonna get to that right now. Okay, let's get back to it. What? Isn't there a such thing as a cheese casserole? I don't know. That's what came to mind. I have no idea. Is there a cheese such thing as a? Yeah, he did. He said French vanilla one time too. He sure did. Just P Diddy. That's all it is. He Diddy. Let's go.
You know, a lot of our people are jealous of each other. You have other people that, you know, even though you believe and you love completely everybody, other people don't always believe
There's
in
a cheese casserole.
As African Americans that are considered American.
See what she's doing? She's buying right into the foolishness. That's how dangerous Umar is. African Americans who are considered to be what? What, ma'am?
Raised or connected to this country.
Oh, cut it out. Umar great granddad's name is Grandpa Cicero. When I was growing up, I didn't know nobody named Cicero. Not that I'm talking about black people. That's two names we don't be naming our kids. We don't name them Cicero, and we don't name them Jesus. We don't do that. Now, if you Mexican or you got Spanish, they'll name their kids Jesus, Jesus, and Cicero, because that's Spanish. Cicero, that's Spanish. That's from Cuba. So what are you talking about, ma'am? You know, we don't do that. You know, hey, man, what's up, man? Because hey, what's your name, man? Oh, my name is Jesus. No, no, we don't do that.
They love their country for whoever they are.
See, they love their country, meaning the Jamaicans, because they're separate. They love that. Yeah, no, I know. I figured that, but someone explained to me last year. They said that Spanish is a derivative of Latin. Okay, all right.
And from wherever they are, Africans to Africans, Jamaicans to Jamaicans, but when they have to deal with African American people,
see what she's doing? Africans for the Africans, Jamaicans for the Jamaicans.
There is.
Yeah, but see that's Spike Lee was tripping. That's why he tripping. That's what he was tripping when he named what was that basketball? Ray Allen. He named Ray, and that's why whenever I watched that movie, I wouldn't refer to Jesus Shuttleworth as Jesus. I'd say that's Ray Allen. Okay, Baba Diddy.
And Dr. Umar needs to realize that he has got to be able to push what he's doing above this attitude and find out why the hell his licensing for the.
What attitude are you talking about?
School that he wants to build, why things are not moving.
Listen, ma'am, the reason why things aren't moving is because he hasn't applied. And he can either do it over the phone to get put on the schedule, or he can do it on the website. She don't know what she's talking about. I don't, listen, she too old. That's all I'm saying. And if you want these Umar Johnson followers, you're in your early 20s, maybe even early 30s. Okay, I get it. But she sounds like she's a little older. She don't know what she's talking about. That's not how the process works. The way Umar all he got to do is call the number and get put on the schedule. That's it. They ain't got to call him back and talk with him about nothing. They ain't got to take him out on a date. They ain't got to go take him to the fish fry or bring him, none of that. Or if he don't want to call, you can go. I can give you guys a link right now because I was on the website today when I called them. You can go on there and you can actually go on the website and you don't have to talk to anybody. And you can schedule. This is 2026. There's a lot of stuff we can do nowadays. You ain't even got to talk to nobody. You get on there. You can go to set up a dental appointment right there on the thing. You ain't got to talk to nobody. Right? What else? Doctor's appointment. What else? Orthodontist. What else? You ain't got to even talk to nobody. I mean, you can place an order for food without talking to. Back when we was kids, we couldn't do that. You have to go and call somebody or show up or something.
Move,
Thank you, Thelma, for that call. And
yeah, she black. That's her name, Thelma.
I agree with you.
I had a crush on Thelma from Good Times.
If
Many of us did, though. That's
has a person or a system in Wilmington, Delaware, that does not want the school to open, and then they pass that down the line, then those other team players are down the line are going to try to do whatever they can to prevent the school from opening. But
cut it out.
We, as they say, we can plan all we want, but we know who the greatest planner is of all times.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I just want to do that as a quick video for people who didn't have time to get to yesterday's video because we was wilding out yesterday. Okay, let's do these super chats, and then I want to show this paperwork again for people who didn't see it. And this is dealing with the inspection, and then we'll be up out of here. See, this is a nice game. Take a drink for each of Baba David's missing. No, let's not do that. Thanks, CJ. Sharif says the only black stopping that school is Umar. Yeah. Again, the biggest obstacle for Umar is Umar, and that has been the case throughout his life. Okay, I've researched this guy's childhood. I've researched when he's sent away to I can't think of the name right now, the military academy. I researched when he gets into undergraduate. Research when he gets into his master's program. Research when he starts impregnating these women, deadbeat. Researched him when he first starts to get into the black conscious space. Researched his limited career as a school psychologist. Researched him as a principal for a very short period of time. Researched Umar once he gets tied into the black conscious space in New York via Sa Netter. Research Umar when he gets his Psi D. Hidden Colors when he starts getting into the black conscious space and then starts to do talks and lectures around the world. 2014 when he starts specifically focusing on the St. Paul's College. And then from 2004 to roughly 2015 through 2019, where he's traveling, speaking, talking about how he's also looking for a school with all kinds of other drama going on, including a conscious stripper during that time and the set he ran. 2019, when he acquires these trap bandos that he's been sitting on for over 7 years. And everything that's taken place from 2019 to 2026. What the research shows is that the biggest obstacle in Umar's life is Umar. He's the common denominator. And will continue to be. That's why he always makes excuses. He never holds himself accountable. It's always someone else's fault. Thanks, Sharif. See, it says Umar doesn't comprehend that not every black person on earth isn't a dysfunctional basket case or a total. I will say this, that Umar, he has a very low opinion about black people. And there's a segment in the documentary for 2012 where I outline that. It's only about maybe 45 minutes long, the clips that I show. But every single, my plan is that every single year moving forward, I'm going to provide some clips where Umar is disparaging black people. He has a very low view about black people. That's why whenever he talks about black people, he always reduces it down to like some ghetto type ish. Right? It's like the worst case scenarios. He does that over and over and over again. Thanks, CJ. Yeah, I got this one earlier, but Xenoflux, there has to be some, it has to incorporate though this whole idea of Pan Africanism and it's contradictory to be xenophobic, but also be a Pan Africanist. So there has to be, I don't know, no, it couldn't be, I don't know. But xenophobia, that does fit. It does fit what Umar is trying to do here. Thank you. I got this started. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, CJ. YouTube Defy says Umar Johnson is divisive and dumb. Immigrants uniting with the existing diaspora can form very powerful institutions. Asians and Asian Americans are great at this. Yeah, and there have been a lot of groups that have done that. You know, and they have connections and they work together. See, and it's not advantageous for Umar as a Pan-Africanist to throw Black immigrants under the bus, and more specifically, Jamaicans under the bus. Because his greatest idol, the person that he wants to be the most, it's not Frederick Douglass, it's Marcus Garvey. Well, he's from Jamaica. He's from the islands. See, but again, Umar, he doesn't build bridges. What he does is he burns bridges. He doesn't build connections between people to where people work together for mutual benefit. What he does is he divides people. He's an agent of chaos. I'll propose that that's one of the reasons why FDMG is where it's at today, because he doesn't know how to work with people. Yeah, this is a good point right here. Yeah, thank you, Zujuva. Black Wolf says Umar tries to pull in whoever he can that will fit his narrative. Yeah, because Umar was just talking bad on people saying Black Americans not even 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but he flips. He flips. You know, he'll disparage Black Americans, which would be part of what he calls DACA, right? I always gotta look it up. I will not commit that foolishness to memory. I should, but I'm not gonna do it. What does DACA mean? DAFA. That's what. Yeah, I keep thinking DACA. Diaspora. No, that's another one. There's also a DACA. There's DAFA. Oh, so here's DAFA. Diaspora Africans for Accountability. That's another one. There's other ones too. Let me look at this one real quick. Hold on. Umar's DAFA is descendants of African freedmen in America. Freedmen in America, right? But then he'd be talking bad about Black people too, calling Black people Negroes. So which one is it? But he flips. He'll flip, and in this case, he's flipping this to try to have an excuse as to why the certificate of occupancy is not in place at this point. He wants to blame it on somebody else, an immigrant, a Black immigrant. Okay, and see, it doesn't make sense anyway. So how can I phrase this? It wouldn't be as effective if Umar stated that it was another descendant of African freedmen in America who's sabotaging this process, the certificate of occupancy. It's not as effective. But if he says it's an immigrant, a Black immigrant who's doing this with the xenophobia aspect of this, it's more effective because now it's a us versus them, meaning us, descendants of African freedmen in America, versus them, meaning Black immigrants, in this case, a Black immigrant from Jamaica. It's more effective that way, okay? It's still divisive though, right? Okay, thanks, Black Wolf. Daxter says, man, y'all. All right, what's up, Daxter? CJ says, not advocating violence, but how long before Umar has okay, I don't want to put that up there. The thing is that Umar there's been incidents that have taken place where Umar has been put, he's put himself in position to have to deal with some consequences. And one of the individuals, a lot of people don't know this, but one of the individuals who actually, I don't want to say saved, but came to Umar's defense and to his aid when there was a brother that was going to run up on Umar. One of the individuals, it was a woman. Anyone want to know? Anyone want to take a guess of who that woman was? It's amazing now to think about it, how all this plays itself out. Umar was doing a speaking engagement and it was at a church. And there's a brother that stepped to him asking him about the money dealing with FDMG. And Umar gets belligerent. This brother gets belligerent and they was going to come to blows. And there's a woman that stepped in to stop it from happening. Corralled Umar, pushed him in, and helped to escort him back into the church, and they closed the door and locked it. No, not Sharon, not Tiff DeGriff. Anybody know? That you guys are going to be, you guys, no, it wasn't Harriet Tubman. Someone said it was the brat. Yeah, it was good old Miss Zora. You guys remember Zora? Zora was the one. And there's stories that corroborate this too, because I didn't know that it was her, because someone else told this story, but they didn't know who she was. And then she told the story and explained it and broke it down. She's the one that saved Umar. Then later on down the line, Umar does this horrible rant. It's got to be in the top 5, where he goes and disparages her, and just he looked crazy, talking reckless and talking crazy. But she's the one that saved him. I don't want to use that word save, but she intervened in that situation. Okay. Thanks, CJ. HWY says, so Marcus Garvey sabotaged the school inspection. Yeah, I guess you could say that. No, it's just the irony of all of this, that Umar would make it about a Jamaican out of all people, or out of all groups. He could have come up with anything. He could have said it was a white inspector. He could have said it was he could have said it was a Mexican, and he could have said it was Brother Jose's cousin, whatever. But no, he has to specifically say an immigrant. And then he specifically states that it's a Jamaican. Okay, crazy. Thanks, HWY Highway. What's up, Big Dave? Says everything is phone calls and handshakes. All of these government services can be requested via online system. Why are you calling people in 2026? Absolutely. I was on the website today. There's a phone number that you can call, but then when I called the phone number, because it was closed, it was like, if you want to schedule without calling, I'm paraphrasing, you can go to www, and they get, and then while they were saying it, I don't know if I wrote it down or I didn't write it down. Yeah, I didn't write it down, but I got all the information right here. In terms of the phone number, and while it was saying it, I typed it in, and then once it was done, I hung up the phone and I clicked over, and yeah, you can go up on the website and schedule. It's no big deal. It's really nothing. See, this is just to get the process started. It's not like that same day they're coming out or the next day. That's not how it works. You get put on the schedule, and you'll know when they're going to come out. And then you be there, be prepared to let them in to show, because they have to have access. Because I was looking through the material, and they were talking about that they have to have access to be able to get into everything. They got to be able to go to everything. But Umar wants to make it seem like it's a phone call, buddy type of thing. Handshake here, let's meet here, come and come and check it out and do a pre-inspection. They don't do all that. That's ridiculous. This is just the first step. And all that is to get on the schedule. And you ain't even have to make a phone call. You can go on the website, like Big Dave's saying, and you can just go through the process. It ain't gonna take but maybe a minute. Like I was talking about earlier, it's about efficiency. It's about efficiency. Everything is streamlined so that they can get to the job at hand and get the job done, and move on to the next. That's it. Man, thanks, Big Dave. Jam Jack says he didn't get back because he too busy laughing at what he saw. I don't think he actually went up there though. That shit was nowhere near done. He wasted his time. Yeah, he went up there for the pre-inspection, and he was looking around like, oh shit. He said, yeah, I'll call you back. I'm gonna call you back. Yes, I. I'm gonna call you back. Irie. What's the other one that my wife's mom and aunt, they used to always say? There was some term they used to say all the time. And rest in peace to mama, because they were Rasta. Baby, what was the main thing they used to say? You remember? Yeah, give thanks and praises. Give thanks. And they would call Bob Marley. They would call him Brother Bob. My wife still does that. Yeah, give thanks and praise. yeah, man. They used to laugh at me when I would try to talk. Anyway, thanks, Jam Jack. Yeah, he would have been up there, been like, this is a waste of my time. I got no time for this. Okay. Kogo gifted a membership. Thanks so much, Kogo. Hope you're doing all right, bro. The Dazzling Globetrotter. I like that name. Remember the Globetrotter from back then? FDMG is opening on the 12th of Never. Yeah. I've heard people say that it's opening on the 32nd of December. I said, okay. All right. Thanks to Dazzling Globetrotter. We almost done to everybody. Lewis Sex says, I remember at the height of his popularity, you couldn't ask Umar about when the school would open, how much money he raised, or any progress, or he would snap at you. Yeah. But he can't escape questions now. Yeah, you're right about this. Nowadays, there's so many people asking questions. But back then, I have a video where he went off. He was in Atlanta. It's in the documentary. He was in Atlanta, and he was throwing a tantrum on stage. I wish I could find it. Let me see if I can find it. But back then he felt like and even still, he doesn't like to be questioned, but it's been so long and so many people have questioned him on this that it's inevitable. Because I remember he had on he's trying to act like he was a rapper thug. Here it is right here. Yeah, he was in Atlanta. Yeah, so it's one of these. I don't know which one it is though. Let me see. Yeah, I'll pull up each one and we'll find it. Here's the first one. This is the fourth video.
Freak some of you out. But if we want to get back to being who we are, we gotta go to a school. What bothers Dr. Umar Johnson more than the fact that you're taking from us and giving to people who don't need it, more than the money is the melanin. Why are you taking our black gold? And some of you, I know I have naysayers.
Here it go right here. Watch
I
this.
have some in Atlanta.
Oh, it's coming.
I have some in other cities.
Trust.
Who say we think he bluffing. He ain't building no school. He just talking like the rest of them do. Okay. Well, just sit back and watch. Give me about 12 to 16 months, and let's see how much Dr. Umar Johnson is bluffing, damn it. I don't play games. That's one thing I don't do. You understand? I got the blood of Frederick Douglass in my damn body.
No, you don't. Anyone want to take a guess what year this was? Type it in the chat.
I ain't playing no games. I know what my ancestors sent me here to do, and I'm going to do it. It ain't no mistake that I got 6 degrees and still got my damn pants sagging. I'm still swagging, and I got all the degrees at a white university. You ain't never seen nobody come like me in front of your ass with the truth, with a white man's education, but still loving his black woman to death. You ain't never seen it. You don't question me and what the hell I do. Who helping your kids like me? Who keeping them out of special ed like me? Who keeping them off of ADHD like me? Who testing them? Who making them mentally gifted? Who at the prison? Who at the court? Who working with the lawyers? Don't nobody back up what the hell they say like me. Don't you ever question my ass again.
That's y'all's principle. He was tripping. What's up, Ed? Captain Ed? He was tripping. This is from 2014, January 5th of 2014, acting like this. So yeah, back then he didn't like to be, but nowadays it's inevitable because it's gone on for too long. It's a good point. He can't escape questions now, but back then, Umar, he really felt like no one should question him. That's why he's acting like this. See, nowadays, he knows people are going to question him because he's a scam artist, and more and more people woke up to the truth, so they know what the deal is. It's such a different time, too. I'm telling you guys, anyone who's been around for a while, or even if you research Umar going back to, let's say, the St. Paul's College, you can really start there, because by that time he's getting into his heyday. It was so different, especially compared to now, way different. He was packing out auditoriums, standing room only. There were people who would show up in suits and ties like professionals. Nowadays, no. Yeah, it's a different time. Thanks, Louis. Yeah, he's an excuse maker. That's what he does. But today I was saying earlier that the excuse making is just a cover for his incompetence, and he's presented himself as if he knows everything, and yet he fails at everything. I shouldn't say everything because that would be unfair, but he fails at most of what he proposes. Overwhelmingly, it's 99%. Let's give him some grace, 95%. But instead of holding himself accountable and dealing with the incompetence, he has to make excuses, and oftentimes he blames other people. He creates narratives, including blaming black immigrants now, all of a sudden. Thanks, guys, little princess. SH Play says, Umar blaming a stranger is not very manly. Men get things done. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. See, if we go back to February of 2019, and even if it's just you, I'll just use that as an example, SH Play, it's just you. You've acquired these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. You put down $400,000 to acquire them. You should have been sitting on at least, as a bare minimum, somewhere around $1 million, somewhere around there. Because in 2016, he said he was at $1 million. So if it's 2017, 18, and 2 years, you would think that Umar would have acquired, well, let's say 800,000. You should be sitting, oh, let's give you more grace. Let's say you should be sitting on 700,000 after the purchase. SH Play, do you think that you could get one classroom looking close to being done in 6 months? Sure. Could you do it in 4 months? Absolutely. Could you do it in 2 months? Yeah. See, even if we adjust and we consider, let's say, the fact that there was no electricity on when he acquired these abandoned buildings, could you have still gotten it done in a month? Probably. If day one in February, when you acquire these abandoned buildings, you already have the electrician lined up, because you should have been sitting on, let's say, $700,000. So the money should have been there, and you should have the electrician lined up already to get the electricity turned on. And that electrician, day one, gets started. You may even pay him in advance right before he gets started. Say, hey, listen, on this day, this is when we're gonna own it. So you get started right away. Could that electrician get enough electric work done within a month to have electricity on while you are simultaneously getting that one room together? Yeah, it's doable. 2 months, absolutely. So let's say in 2 months, SH Play, as a man, with the funds invested in you, okay, sound like Umar, by people from all over, Black people all throughout the diaspora, in 2 months, you could have one room done. I mean, oh man, I think it was Kogo said it yesterday. The bar has been set so low for Umar. Yeah, you can get it done in two months. I'll propose that anyone could get it done in 2 months if that's really what they wanted to do. So the question becomes, if SH Play could do it and get that one room done in 2 months, like Umar showed yesterday, that one room, if SH Play can get it done in 2 months, why does it take Umar 7 years to get that room done? You guys see you see the point? But no, what he has to do, Umar, after 7 years, instead of holding himself accountable like men should do, he blames someone else. And that's not manly. And clearly he don't get things done. Real talk, he can't even get on the website that I put up there for you all yesterday. He can't even get up on that website and schedule to have inspections start. He can't even do that. All right. Thanks, SH Play. And really, there's no excuse at this point for Umar. There's none. Gotta Know What says, it's incredible to me how Umar antagonizes everyone he comes in contact with. He has never learned the value of creating alliances. Where's his team? There is no team. And you're absolutely right. One of Umar's biggest issues is that he's an antagonist. He burns bridges. And that's why he's a one-man show. He wants it that way, though, too, because he wants total power and control. But see, it's an obstruction it's a character flaw. It's an obstruction because if he was able to work with other people, and it's not just with this FDMG project, it's just in general, he's never been able to work with other people. It always turns into chaos with this guy. But if he was able to work with other people, do you guys think that do you think that it would take Umar 7 years to get one room looking like it's done? Now, that room, it doesn't mean that room is going to pass inspection. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying from an optical standpoint that it looks nice. I gave him credit for that yesterday. I'm always fair. I've made some mistakes, but I've always been fair. Think about it. Would it take Umar? Would it take anyone? Gotta know, would it take you 7 years to get that one room done? No, it wouldn't take you that long. If it was just you, could you get it done in 5 months? Yeah. Could you get it done in 4 months? Yeah. Now, let's say you were able to get it done in 4 months. Would you have gotten it done sooner if you were able to work with people and them help you and they work with you? Absolutely. So here we are 7 years later since Umar acquired these abandoned buildings, and part of the problem is that he doesn't know how to work with people. He antagonizes people. See, he lies all the time. Do y'all think he's telling the truth to people that he's dealing with? No, they deal with him and they realize very quickly. Well, not everyone, but I'm sure professionals that would have worked with Umar long-term to help him out, that as they were trying to deal with it, they realized very quickly that something's not right with this guy. He doesn't know how to build alliances. And that's the thing about professionalism in any area. A professional knows how to work with other people. Umar doesn't. And it's not just with FDMG. Okay, it's in his personal life. He don't know how to work with other people. He's an antagonist, antagonizing his baby mamas last year. You guys remember that? Antagonized his own daughter last year. It's part of his character. Thanks, guys. Noah. And someone who has a character like that, they're never going to get anything done. Plus, he's lazy. All right. Thanks, guys. Noah. Big Dave says it's simple. You submit the request, they make a work order, and the inspections get done. That's it. You schedule the inspection, it's right on their page. It's true. That's all it is. Let me read it again. It's simple. You submit the request. You can do it over the phone or you can go to the website and do it there. You ain't even got to talk to anybody. You submit the request, and that's just the first step. They make a work order and the inspection gets done. You schedule the inspection, it's right on the page. And that's it. It's nothing more complex than that. See, it's crazy because it's so simple, but Umar makes it complex, but he makes it complex so that there's an excuse. And the excuse is tied to sabotage from this black immigrant, as he states, who happens to be Jamaican. See, that's something to look for with these scammer types, con artist types. They can't give you a simple explanation to anything. Everything has to be more complex than it needs to be. But part of the complexity is to confuse people. But if you say it and you answer a question directly, which Umar rarely does, you just state it. Umar doesn't do that. He starts talking in circles. He starts to deflect. In this case, he starts to create these narratives that become more and more complex. Just like it was more, if you guys remember, and then we wind this down. If you guys remember when Umar first started to put out this narrative about his bank accounts being hacked, and that I was participating in that somehow, it was simple at first. But over time, it became more and more complex. But he was just setting the seed. Okay? Well, that's what he's doing now. He even set the seed long time ago on the Breakfast Club, talking about how the city of Wilmington, they the certificate of occupancy. This is years ago. And then look at where we're at here today. Huh? He even said it. I might have to get a lawyer. A lawyer. I might have to march against the city of Wilmington. Well, now what is he talking about? How a lawyer is looking into this? Huh? You see this? But it's gotten more complex. He didn't say nothing about this alleged black immigrant who's Jamaican. Okay, thanks, Big Dave. I call Cap said, did Baba take that? No. Did Baba make that noise? I don't know. There was some noise going on. I just ignored it. I just ignored it. Thanks, I call Cap. Lady Renee Hezron says, basically, Umar wants black men to give him a pass. I think that Umar wants everyone to give him a pass because he feels special. That's the sense of entitlement. It's part of the narcissism. He thinks that people are supposed to give him things. He's entitled to everything, that people are supposed to treat him special. That he's entitled to whatever anyone else has. That's how he thinks. So it's not just black men. He wants black women to give him a pass. Yeah, okay, yeah. He's a deadbeat. He don't take care of his kids. He's non-committal to you, black women. He's never been married. I've never heard him talk about a long-standing relationship with a black woman. Haven't heard any of that. But he wants y'all to give him a pass. But if it was anybody else, you'd be like, listen, he's trifling, right? He's a skank and a skeezer, right? But Umar expects black women to give him a pass. He can talk reckless about you, black women, which he does. He can call you all kinds of names, which he does. But he expects you guys to give him a pass. Yeah, I think that that's tied to his narcissism. He feels so special and so entitled that no matter what he does, people are supposed to give him a pass. That's Umar. Thanks, Lady Renee. S.H. Play says, let's be real. What black, I think you're saying, I guess you're saying, what black inspector is trying to stop a black school from opening? If the official is real, none of this is personal for the inspector. Yeah, and it wouldn't be. But Umar, see, I don't believe the story in the first place, but let's accept Umar's Delulu narrative, because he does this all the time. And we can come up with a whole list of stuff he just be coming up with. But let's assume that he's telling the truth, that everything he says, there's no reason why an inspector is gonna, for some reason, make a decision about business based upon some personal issue. What's the, and furthermore, what's the personal issue though too? Umar didn't define what that was. What's the personal issue that this black immigrant Jamaican has with Umar? What, because Umar is a DACA or whatever he calls it, a DAFA? He's a descendant of African freedmen in America, and this inspector is not? Is that what he's saying? Maybe that is what he's saying. That's nuts. See, this is business. They have no, there's no personal vendetta, none of that stuff. Umar's making this story up, but if we go with his story, it still doesn't make any sense. Let's look at this another way. Let's assume that Umar's telling the truth and that there is this black immigrant from Jamaica who is purposely seeking to sabotage Umar. Okay, if that is taking place and Umar's saying that he has a lawyer looking into it, well, then there should be some litigation coming down the pipe, right? Because they're discriminating against Umar because he is a descendant of African freedmen in America, right? And the city of Wilmington already tried to sell the buildings out from under me without any reason. No, right? But that's what Umar says. Okay, let's assume that that's all. Well, it's crazy. I can't go that far. Let's assume that what he's saying about this alleged black immigrant, if that's true, then there should be some litigation that comes down the line, and it should be public record at some point. It's not going to happen. Why? Because none of this is true. And even if it was, this black immigrant, is not going to put his livelihood in jeopardy. They get paid bank too, by the way. He's not going to put his livelihood in jeopardy because he has some sort of personal vendetta against Umar. Come on. They get paid bank too. No, they're not going to do that. Wouldn't nobody do that? Especially no Jamaican. No, I'm just playing. Because they be working them jobs. I'm just playing. They be having 4 or 5 jobs. Okay, that's from Hidden Colors. That's from In Living Color. Okay. But thanks, SH Play. Seth says Umar positions himself as the center of everybody's universe. Yeah, but that's because he feels special. And blah, 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 David grunts like a stuck piggy. Well, Father David, he placates. That's what he does. But you're right. Umar does see himself as the center of everyone's universe, but that's because he feels special. That's tied to the narcissism. And that's something I think that goes back to childhood. That's what I think. I'm speculating. He felt like he should be the center, and he's always attention seeking too, even to this day. He has to be the center of attention. Histrionics, that's what it's called. That's Umar. Yeah. And that's part of perceiving oneself to be the center of everybody. It's narcissism too, but histrionics. He does everything is extra. Everything is like drama filled, but that's because he wants to be the center of attention, and therefore he becomes the center of everyone's universe. At least that's how he conceptualizes it inside of his mind. That's why he's always over the top with everything. Okay? Thanks, Seth. And I hope you're doing all right too, bro. Moses says Jermaine Shoemake. Okay. And it's Jermaine Shoemake too, by the way. I know people say shoemaker. Tasha K said Shoemake one time. I laughed so hard. is Umar, excuse me, it's Jermaine Shoemake. Yeah. And then his father renamed him at a certain point. I have it on the timeline. I have it in documentary 2. Umar Rashad ibn Abdullah Johnson. Umar Rashad ibn Abdullah Johnson. Yep. Thanks, Moses. Lewis Suck says he needs to just give it up and get that job at Home Depot. He can lay face up on top of the bags of mulch in the garden section and stream. By the time management finds him, his ship would be over. Oh, that's wild. Yeah, Umar, he would not do any type of job like that. He wouldn't do a job. He feels special. He feels like it's beneath him. And an example of that is when he would have people come to do work at these trap bandos. You would notice he wouldn't be doing the work. He would be kind of sitting back, giving orders and filming people. Right. So if Umar was put in a position where he had to perform and he had to produce and he was unsupervised, he wouldn't get anything done. He wouldn't. And then even if he supervised, he would probably get some things done, but then he's an antagonist. He'll start creating problems. He says, yeah, well, my supervisor, they're against me and they're trying to sabotage me. That's Umar. Okay. Another thing, Lewis, is Umar, he suffers from paranoia, and it's extreme too. It's extreme. When I was in the conspiracy theory paradigm, I dealt with paranoia too, because a lot of information that I was getting into was just like dark, end of the world, Illuminati, reptilian shapeshifters, all this kind of stuff. Once I got out of that, I was able to get my mental health back in order, right? But Umar, he still struggles with that to this day. And let me just say something else too. The paranoia wasn't just for me. It wasn't just from the conspiracy theory paradigm. It goes back to like childhood stuff too, right? But Umar, you can tell even to this day, he still has these issues with paranoia, and then it filters into this notion that everyone's trying to sabotage him. And now here he is concocting this story. I don't believe that it's true, but he's concocted it inside of his mind, and he'll restate it at a certain point. He'll probably elaborate on it at a certain point, because that's what he does. Of now, there's this black immigrant who's Jamaican who's trying to sabotage him. There's no one trying to sabotage him. It's Umar. He's the common denominator. He was the common denominator back in 2005 in the UNIA. He's the common denominator over 20 years later in 2026. No. But this was funny right here. Thanks, Lewis. Seth says, blah, 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 David is a black guy. Yeah. Shout out to all the sci-fi people in the building. Thanks, Seth. Umar biting off the FBA stance of delineation. Yes. When I looked this up too, so this is from AI. Based on recent information, Dr. Umar Johnson has introduced DAFA movement, which stands for Descendants of African Freedmen in America, meaning DAFA is a political or social movement focusing on fighting for the rights of descendants of African people who were freed from slavery in America, specifically highlighting their role in the Civil War. Context, Dr. Umar developed DAFA movement as a counter movement to other unspecified movements, emphasizing the legal status of freedmen or freed men after freedom was achieved. And then significance, it says DAFA distinguishes itself by focusing on the lineage, right, of those who fought to keep the United States from being divided, rather than just on an American identity, aiming to secure rights specifically for this group. But again, Umar claims, he says he's African. He all over the place. Umar, you ain't African. You ain't even Crenshaw Mafia, so cut it out. Okay, thanks, Seth. Kiara says, no computers, Lenon, only typewriters. Real quick, we're almost done. There's a video, I have it, I just got to run back into it, where Umar, he's giving advice. He's giving advice to high school seniors so that when they put in their application for college and they write their letter, there's a specific term, because first time I went to college, I had to write one of those. I can't remember what it is right now. And he was telling, when you write this, and he says, make sure you have a typewriter. And I was like, what did he say? A typewriter? What are you talking about? You know what? I used a electric typewriter back in 1993. What you talking about, an old school typewriter, Umar? See, and that's when it clicked in my mind that he's so antiquated, especially when it comes to technology. He's antiquated. I don't know when that video is probably, I could find it too, but it would take me a while. But it's probably, I would think it's probably about 6 years old, something like that. He had so around 2020, let's give him some grace, 2019. He's talking about I'm talking about them old school typewriters, because I've used those because my grandmama had one a long time ago. That was big technology back then. Listen, you guys remember that then it gets stuck and you got to go do like this. Then when the ink run out, there was these little things you put them in, one on this side and you connect it and put on the other side. That's what he was talking about. And this is the guy that's going to open up as he stated on a Lord Jamar's podcast. He said that it was state of the art. Anyway, he's right. Had no computers, only typewriters. Thanks, Kiara. Hope you're doing all right. Yana says, it's amazing to me that this guy is not in jail. Yeah, I know. Listen, I did not think that this would last this long. That's for sure. I remember when he acquired these trap banners in 2019. I said, I give it 3 or 4 years. Okay, we're 7 years in. And again, I was wrong. I can admit when I was wrong. And when I screw up, I'll admit that too. Okay, I'm not perfect. That being said, I don't think that by February of 2027, this whole Umar Johnson saga, I don't think it's going to look anything like what it looks like now, especially as it pertains to these trap battles in Wilmington, Delaware. We're going to have to wait and see. I've been wrong before. I've been right before too. Okay, we're going to see. Thanks, Jonas. Hope you're doing all right as well. Okay, YouTube Divide says, why don't people call Umar Johnson out on his lives? They do. They're inside his chat room. There's people who called him out. Yeah, I'll propose that that's one of the reasons why Umar doesn't. He did try to. He started a YouTube page years ago, but it got shut down because his rhetoric was over the top. But if he toned down the rhetoric, he could be successful on YouTube. But he would be subject to so much criticism. That's the thing about YouTube. YouTube is it's a different beast. It's different than Instagram. It is. It's different than Facebook. People will go in. That's what happens. So if you're on YouTube, just be ready for it. Listen, I've had to deal with all kinds of stuff. Okay, Umar's not built for that. He's not, because he doesn't. Truth be told, no one likes criticism, but constructive criticism can lead someone to make progress in life, progressions in life. It's helped me. I can say that. Umar, he doesn't want any criticism because he the way that he operates, he thinks he knows everything, and he perceives himself. He called himself the Black Christ. So what can be in his own mind, narcissist? What is it? So he wouldn't fare well on YouTube. He wouldn't, And then on top of that, there'll be people who would just be lying on him too. Okay, and no one likes to be lied on. I've had to deal with a lot of that too. So and see, that's not easy to deal with, but you have to develop the ability to just get beyond it. Umar, he doesn't have that ability. And part of the reason why, because he doesn't have emotional intelligence, and he's emotionally immature. So YouTube specifically, if he did lives on YouTube, that chat room would be crazy. But on Instagram, there are people, they call him out. But again, once it's archived on Instagram, you can't see that. Right? Thanks, YouTube Divide. Hot salt is when she's sweaty. Okay. All right. I don't know what hot salt is supposed to be. That's what Umar said. He was talking crazy. He said warm peanut butter and pina colada. Then he said hot salt. And I said, what in the world are you talking about? Okay. I don't even think you can warm up salt. Wouldn't it start to, I don't know. Maybe I should try it. Thanks, User 225. User 225 says they call him UJ, Ujitty. Okay. Umar Johnson, Ujitty. Okay. Miranda says skeezer. He is a skeezer. He is skanking. That's what we used to say. I shouldn't be talking like that, but that's how we used to talk back in the day. Okay. We also used to say she a freak, but a freak wasn't like P. Diddy freak. A freak mean that she was fine. Okay. So yeah, man, she a freak, man. Yeah, she look good. That's That's for you old people from back in the day in Southern California. Yeah, we had other terms too, like tenderoni. Yeah, she a tenderoni. Yeah, so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, that's how we used to talk back in the day. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah. Right. Okay. The freaks come out at night. I remember that one. Yeah, the ladies used to call me that, Mac Daddy. Yeah. No, but freak didn't mean that. It didn't mean like a super freak. That's not what it meant. It was a term of endearment. Like, yeah, honey dip. We didn't really use that, but yeah, that was honey dip was another one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, yeah, they used to call me that. They used to call He's like, they used to call me that as well. Okay, all right. A girly. Okay, now I never. We didn't say that in Southern California. Oh, girly is back. I have no idea. Yeah. Trollop. I ain't heard that one. Popsicle. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to it. That's for the old people. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Oh wait, no, I was doing super chats. Okay, we almost done. Yeah. Foxy was another one, and yeah, Brothers was called Scrubs back in the day. In fact, whatchamacallit had a song. Left Eye and I can't. Don't go chasing waterfalls. They had a song that with the scrub thing on it. Yeah, I had a crush on the one lady. I think it's T-Balls. Yeah. I had a crush on her back in the day. She's 55 now. Little Roni. Jerry Curl Papa. What in the world? Yeah, Shorty is a common one. We didn't really say Shorty. That's more of a Southern thing. But yeah, that's a common one. Yeah, Baby Girl's another one. Yeah. John, that's like New York, right? I think that's a New York thing. Baddie, that's younger people use that. Yeah. No. Yeah, TLC, that's the group's name, TLC. It's called No Scrubs. Yeah. I used to love me some TLC back in the day. They had some good songs back then. Jonathan said, thoroughbreds. Because he's so professional. We called them thoroughbreds. All right. I see. Okay. T-Balls, right? Isn't that her name? Yeah, T-Balls. Yeah. Okay. No, I that's not what I said. That's not what I was saying. Y'all be taking stuff too. That's not what I said. I said T-Balls. I didn't. You guys be tripping. You guys always got to take stuff like because yesterday I said something about Father David with his tooth. I said he was playing with it in his mouth like this. Everybody was like, pause. I said, what? That's what he was doing. He was playing with it in his mouth. Y'all got to take it to some Diddy type stuff. That's not what that was. All right. Okay. Yeah, Bad Mama Jama, that goes back even further. Yeah. That's like the 70s, early 80s. She's a Bad Mama Jama. Mm-hmm. I remember that. Player. Yeah. Okay. A Thickosaurus. I see Michael's been around. Michael's about the business, as it were. He's I ain't heard that one. I have not heard no Thickosaurus. I'm gonna say it to my wife tonight. See how she responds. Say, how you doing, Thickosaurus? Okay. I ain't gonna do that. That's crazy. Boy, I get in trouble talking crazy like that. Yeah, Thickums. I remember Thickums. Yeah. Okay, let's finish this up. There's only a couple more super chats. We'll get up out of here. Thanks, Miranda. Miranda got us blown off big time. Randy says, Umar Johnson sounds like the type that throws rocks from the penalty box. he throws rocks from the penalty box. Okay. Okay, Randy. All right, Randy got some skills. Okay, you got the flow. Thank you. Kogo says, Umar Daffa. All right. And it's not Daffa. Is it Daffa? Let me look one more time. I have to commit it to memory, but I just really don't want to do it because it's ridiculous. Let me try it one more time. Descendant. No. Oh, is it Doctor? Yeah, now it's not coming up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. So, descendant of African freedmen in America. That's what it is. Daffa, don't ask for accountability. That's right. That's right. Don't ask for it. That's Umar. Thanks, College of Natural Health, son. Hope you're doing all right as well. Jonathan has been, I think it's a super sticker. Thank you, Jonathan. Been a member for 40. Thanks for being a member for 43 months. Miranda says, Lenon, you and them faces got beast. Oh, this is from earlier. Yeah, whenever I listen to Umar, it's difficult to listen to him. I have to do something. You know, it's like there's people who complain and say, listen, you talk too much while you're, but this show, it's my platform is not about, I mean, it's about Umar, but it's not about Umar videos per se, because most of what he says is a bunch of bull jive, and I can't sit through it by myself anyway. Not at this point. Now, if it's for research purposes, I can do that. But I'm not going to get up on here and hang out with 1,000 people and just watch an Umar Johnson video straight through. We got to have some fun. That's the way that it's digestible. Otherwise, there's no way. There's no way. So, you know, I try to, you know, I got to do something. The super chats make a difference because it's the communication. It really gets the show going in different directions and makes it entertaining. Then the comments, I try my best to stay out of the chat room, because if I get in there and I get caught up, then I get. And it's okay too, but that's part of the entertainment and the engagement. But there wouldn't be any entertainment value or engagement if we just played Umar videos. And the thing is, if people want to go watch Umar Johnson videos without commentary, you can go onto his Instagram page. You can go over to King Kong Consciousness. It's that simple. Okay, but no, I can't just sit up here and just listen to Umar. Okay, we got to get into it and have a good time. Okay, so thanks, Miranda. Jonathan says Umar is using Daffa versus immigrants as an excuse to deflect while getting attention. Yes, I think that's a huge part of this, is the attention part. Now, what will be interesting to see, Jonathan, is whether or not this becomes effective. Because one of the things I noticed about Umar is that he'll do stuff to get attention, but if it doesn't get him the type of attention that he wants, and if that attention doesn't result in donations, he'll dismiss that and move on to something else. So what I'm saying is that it's possible that what he will do is, based upon how people respond to him making these accusations against quote unquote black immigrants, in this case, a Jamaican brother, if he doesn't get the type of response that brings in more money or more support, he'll just dismiss it. And he may not even bring it up ever again. It's possible. Now, if it gets attention and it brings him more support, and like the woman that had called in to Father David show, how she right away started to defend Umar and going with that narrative, if he gets more of that, then he'll keep going with it, and he'll build it and over time, and then he'll make it more and more complex over time. We'll have to wait and see. It's always something with this guy. That's one thing we say about Umar. It's always something. Thanks, Jonathan. Your kids will see this. How's it going? So you gifted a membership. Thank you so much for that. Whoever received that, make sure you think your kids will see this. And thank you so much. Your kids will see this. And then your kids will see this says the pure essence of being a psychologist and the most requested scholar means forming relationships in a network of people. That is why Umar is neither today. And it can't be stated any better than that. You know, and that key word right there are key words: forming relationships and a network. You can't open up a school, which is a place of learning, but also a place of business, because it has to be sufficient. Financially, it has to work. It has to be financially viable. You can't do that if you don't form relationships and you don't form a network, right? See, even financially, Umar, he's inept when it comes to finances. That's why he's raised millions of dollars and not one black child has been educated. That's why he's been homeless since 2019. Can't nobody tell me that somehow Umar knows how to properly manage money when this guy's living in Section 8 housing off of his mama at the age of 51 after collecting millions of dollars. You ain't raised millions of dollars. So what would a normal person do to compensate for that? Well, you form relationships with people who have expertise in personal finance, in business finance, in banking. You form a network of people who can assist in that. Has Umar done that? No. Has Umar ever done construction work? No, I highly doubt it. He's lazy. Does he know what goes into construction work? No. So what should he do if he's going to open up a school? Well, what he should do is form relationships with people who have that expertise in a network of people. And then have the ability to organize these people so that they can all work together to achieve the goal, which is to open up FDMG. Has he done that? No. He's a one-man show. He says, we working. It's just him up there and he ain't working. Yesterday, I played the video. I should pull it up just if people who haven't, was it yesterday? Yesterday I played the video and towards the beginning, there's a guy who Umar is trying to talk to Umar. Umar basically tells him to shut up because Umar's live streaming. Is that I'm gonna play the video. Just that section. That's not a network. That's not a functional relationship within the context of opening up the school. It's not. But if Umar was truly a psychologist, he would know how to do that. He would know how to build relationships and the psychology behind that. If he was the most requested scholar, he would have some sense, which would also include enough sense to make sure that he's forming relationships with professionals who are experts in areas that he doesn't know anything about. And he would have a network of people assisting him, but that's not what he has. Let me show you this because this is the last super chat. Thank you so much. Are you okay? This is good. I can't say this any other better than this. I'm gonna read it one more time. The pure essence of being a psychologist and the most requested scholar means forming relationships in a network of people. That is why Umar is neither today. You're absolutely right about that. He's not a psychologist and he's not the most requested scholar. He's not even a scholar. Now, let me play this for you guys. I just want to show you all who was in the building when Umar is pretending to be cleaning. He's not actually cleaning. Everything is smoke and mirrors with this guy. Is this it? This may be the video before. Here, I'll let this one play while I find another one. Here we go. So this is what he showed on the 29th. And these are, you can see the desks are clean already. I didn't even peep this. These desks are already clean. I'm gonna let this play. Let me go pull up the other one. So this is from the 29th, March 29th. You guys see this? Hit the one. These desks are already clean. Okay, so what Umar does is this is the 29th. What he does on let's see, this is March 29th, 2026. What he does on April 3rd of 2026 is this video right here. See, the desks are already clean. Okay, what he's doing here is he's polishing and he's using some chemicals that we did the research on that live. He should not even be putting these chemicals on these chairs if children are supposed to be sitting on them. Okay, it's hazardous. Okay, to the skin, it could also cause respiratory issues, but also when he's putting this on the seat part and even on the back part, it would make this slippery and a child could slip right out of the chair. Remember, real quick, and we're almost done. Okay, give me 5 minutes. I think what kind of gets lost in all this is Umar, what he says is that he's going to start with like second and third grades. I've heard him say third and fourth grade. I've heard him say third, fourth, and fifth grade. These are young children. I think it kind of gets missed on this because when he's talking about FDMG, the way he frames it as if he's working with boys, but not that these are young children per se. Yeah, at least the way that I kind of interpret when he's talking. But these are our young children that are going to be allegedly at some, hypothetically, it's not going to happen, but hypothetically. So you have to be considerate of that. And if putting this chemical on the seat part or on the backrest could make it slippery enough for a child to fall out of the chair, you wouldn't do that. No, isn't this true? Yeah. It's true. We haven't really talked about this because it kind of gets lost. And thank you, Coco JB, for saying 8, 9, 10-year-olds. It kind of gets lost in all of this because there's so much other stuff going on. It's always some drama. But when we specifically talk about the children who hypothetically, I always got to say hypothetically going to attend this school, if you're using this toxic chemical that could impact their skin, we did the research yesterday. It can also impact their lungs. We did the research yesterday and cause other issues. Why would you put this chemical on these chairs? Furthermore, it's a slipping hazard. Not that they would slip, in terms of their feet slipping, but they could slip out of the chair while they're sitting in the chair. Look. See, the chairs are already clean. They were clean on the May 29th. This is April 3rd. So this is Umar trying to act as if he's doing, this is busy work to get people excited to send in donations. Now watch this.
What happened was,
See, what happened was, look at this guy. Again, this is not building professional relationships. No disrespect to the brother either. I'm just stating facts. This is not a professional network or professional relationships that are being built here. See, Umar has people who kick it there. They hang out. I told people back in 2019 it was going to become his kick it spot. Yeah, someone said it the other day. This is all for show. See this right here? Orange glow, wood furniture. We did the research, and I even provided a link where people can go and look at what the chemicals are in this. And then if you look more carefully, you can look at how it can potentially impact children. This should not be used on these chairs. Period. The chairs are already clean. Yeah, it is. It's horrible. Again, and we're talking about young children. We're not talking about 15, 16, 17-year-olds. We're talking about young children based upon Umar, what he says, the grades that he's going to start with. Yeah, you guys can go look it up. You can go type it in under AI. You can type in orange glow wood furniture 2-in-1 clean and polish. And then should it be used in a school for children? And that opened it up. And then at a certain point, there's a link that I was able to find that goes to the actual product page for this. And there were all types of issues, dangers associated with this in children. All right, I just want to go back to this one part real quick, and then we'll be done. Thank you guys again. We still got 1,000 people in the building. If you haven't hit that like button and you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. Okay, our goal was 400, I think. We're probably over that by now.
what happened?
What happened was. Look. Umar doesn't want him talking about whatever he was going to be talking about because he's live. And no disrespect. Let's be clear. Let's be real. Okay. We real. We know what the deal is. This is not about opening up a school because this is not how it's done. You know, I want to ask one last question, and we're gonna be up out of here. Yeah, he did. He stopped him real quick because who knows what he was going to be talking about? Ain't no telling. But let me ask the question, and this is the last question. We're gonna get up out of here, and I need to check to see where we're at with the poll, and I'll close out the poll. Let me ask one last question. Anyone in the Cookie Crush chat, can you ever remember a time wherein we saw Umar up here, quote unquote, working, where he's dressed in the appropriate clothes to get work done? That's the question. Let me close out this poll. Do you believe Umar Johnson's story about the Jamaican building inspector sabotaging FDMG had over 1,239 votes? 92% said no. 8% said yes. Let me close this out. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Okay, since 2019, February of 2019, I've never seen it. Okay, that's telling in and of itself. I've never seen Umar with a tool belt on, work boots, you know, with a hammer, with nails. It's not serious. This is all for show. So when people say things like he's really working to open up a school, no, he's not working to do anything. It's all to give the illusion of progress. He don't even dress the part. And listen, a real man, when it's time to really get this type of work done, we have special, well, I ain't gonna say special clothes, but we have specific things that we're gonna put on. It may be work boots, whatever the case may be, to get the work done properly. I've never seen that with Umar. Yeah. Nope, never. Now, it's all for show. If we take this a step further, if I think about the people that Umar Johnson has had working there, most of the time, the people aren't dressed appropriate either. So the point I want to make here is that if this brother right here is there to do work, he's not dressed the part. And it reminds me of when Umar had the brothers up on the roof, and they were going to be doing work on the roof. And one of the brothers had on some house shoes, like some sandals. He climbed up the ladder and everything in sandals. And the other brother had on some basketball shoes, like he about to go play some ball, like some and1s or something. The point is that again, going back, because this is a huge point, going back to what your kids will see this, the pure essence of being a psychologist and the most requested scholar means forming relationships in a network of people. And that is why Umar is neither today, meaning a psychologist or the most requested scholar, but the network of people and the building and forming the relationships. These should be professional relationships and professional networks. If you're going to bring a project of this magnitude, opening up a school for Black boys, into fruition. But Umar doesn't surround himself with individuals, form relationships with these individuals, and networks with these individuals who are professional. And that's why FDMG is where it's at today. All right. Yeah, this was huge right here. Thank you. Your kids will see this. Okay, let's close this out. Be Highly Opinionated says, I saw King Randall in action on TikTok, and man, it warmed my heart. He deserves all the recognition that Umar is getting because he is actually doing the work. Listen, I've seen videos of King Randall teaching the boys how to fix cars. Have we seen Umar do anything? Real quick, have we seen Umar do anything with Black boys up at these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware? 7 years. 7 years. Have we seen Umar do one thing up there with Black boys at these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware? The answer is no. And he's collected millions of dollars and has nothing to show for it. Not one Black child been educated, but I've seen King Randall teaching these boys how to fix cars. You know what? I got to say this. I have a video where Umar says he doesn't know how to work with his hands. And yet you're going to take on a project like this where you're going to be, as he states, building a school, but you don't know how to work with your hands. His daddy was a car mechanic. You guys know that? That's what he did. when he was in the military. I can show y'all. It's in the documentary, but I can show y'all. Umar never learned how to work with his hands, but his daddy was. But that shows you that his daddy wasn't around to teach him any of that. It reminded me of my son. He just getting some food. One of the doorknobs, for whatever reason, I was trying to figure out what happened to the doorknob, but the doorknob stopped working. I was like, what the kid do something to this one of these kids? And we rarely use that doorknob anyway. So I had to fix it. But when I fixed it, I told my son to come help me just so he can see the process. I said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hold that, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, you know, if my son had to do it by himself, he probably could figure. He's real smart anyway, but I'm talking about my youngest son. He's real smart. He could probably figure it out anyway. At this point, now that I showed him once, okay, I can show him a couple more times. I'm sure he would get it, but he could probably do it now. The point that I'm making is that Umar didn't get that type of guidance from his father. But that's still not an excuse at the age of 51 to still not know how to work with your hands, especially if you're engaging in this project where you've collected millions of dollars of people's money from around the world. Black people, including Black immigrants, including Jamaicans, collected millions of dollars, and he don't even know how to work with his hands. And that's part of the reason why he's where he's at today. So the idea or notion that Umar Johnson is going to do something like what King Randall is doing, it's not going to happen because Umar doesn't know how to do any of that kind of stuff, period. 7 years, he shows a classroom. That's it. And he ain't working with no children. And listen, not to be like that. Umar Johnson father like, yeah, okay, listen, I've been at this for a long time. I done seen this over and over again. Y'all get excited. Ain't nothing gonna come up out of it until the next thing he do, and y'all get excited again. There ain't no kids when he's in this. I'm belaboring, but he's doing all this, but there ain't no kids nowhere. Ain't no kids nowhere. Okay. Anyway, you're absolutely right about this. I've seen videos of King Randall working with these boys, and I saw him. He was showing them how to fix cars. I said, all right. Thank you. Be highly opinionated. Michael says the fake wood on the desk are already laminated. I think that's what you're saying. You're right. The wood polish is totally ineffective. It's unnecessary. Waste. Absolutely. It serves no purpose. It's not like it's because you put the polish on wood that's not polished already. I'm gonna tell you what Umar is. See, he knows it's going to look shinier, but it speaks to the deeper issue, and that is it's all about surface level. What's the word? Okay, forgot what the word is. I have it right here. Superficial. Everything is superficial. Superficial activities. So in Umar's mind, if I can make it look shinier, then people are going to really get excited. But it's all superficial, and it serves no function because there's no children. And there will not be any. See, again, he ain't even put in for the certificate of occupancy, and it's not going to pass anyway. I already told people what's going to happen is if let's say 10 months later, if he shows that particular room, it's going to be dust covered all over those desks. It's going to look horrible. Watch. It's all superficial. And so even for him to even put the polish on the desk, it makes no sense. And then to put it on the seat part, that's ridiculous because that's a slip hazard for the kids. When they sit down, they slip right off. And ain't no tell, they hit their head, whatever. Real quick, this is all about the illusion of progress. Illusion of progress is the psychological feeling of moving forward towards a goal while actually stalling or reversing, often caused by confusing busy work activity with activity with productive impact. By confusing busy work activity with productive impact. It is a self-deceptive state where intense activity is mistaken for meaningful achievement, creating a false sense of success. So Umar doing all of this with the wood, that's to give, it's busy work, but it doesn't have any productive impact. Now, as it relates to FDMG, with respect to this is me writing this, with respect to the FDMG Academy, the illusion of progress is the means to which Umar Johnson manipulates his followers and supporters into believing that real progress is being made via superficial activities or perceived accomplishments. And that's precisely what he's doing right here. But what is it? It's waste. He's wasting people's time, but he's going to get some money out of these people, though. It's sad, but that's the truth of the matter. Thanks, Michael. Miranda says, did you see the video of Umar supposedly toes in those slides floating around the internet? That was diabolical. No, I haven't seen that. There is a picture when he was in Africa, and he was dressed like a African chief, and he had on some sandals. And I'll leave it right there. Okay. Anyway, we ain't gonna get to that right now. No, I haven't seen that. Okay, I don't think I want to see that, to be honest with you. Thank you, Miranda. There's another one though, Miranda, from back in the day. It was one of the block. I think it was one of the block parties. If memory serves me correctly, because I remember we covered that and we was like, "What's going on there?" Yeah, that was a long time ago. Anyway, thanks, Miranda, but I haven't seen it. Okay, and again, the other thing is, don't believe everything that you see on the internet too, because people can make up stuff. All right, I'm trying to give Umar, Anyway, thanks, Miranda. Your kids Mosita says yes. He called the cops on them and harassed their snow. Yeah, this is something else. This was Umar. He called the police on the kids up there. Oh, I know, because I was asking, has he done anything with the kids up there? He did. He called the police on the kids. And I'm not gonna put the video because we got to be done. But there was these kids. Umar was over in Africa, and this is during the munition time, where he got the munition. And Umar was saying that they had vandalized, and I showed the video, vandalized in the large gym, but that vandalism was years old. That's what the video forensics show. And there was some kids, and he was doing a live stream. There was kids passing by, and then at a certain point, they was telling him, he was asking him about who broke in or whatever, and then they said that there was kids in the building, and Umar was like, "What? Where?" And they told him where at, and Umar goes over. There was kids playing inside the trap bando. It's abandoned buildings. And Umar outside running his mouth on live, talking, running his mouth, and there's kids, and he don't even know the kids in there. And so what does Umar do? He talks to the kids and trying to order the kids around. And he said, I'm going to call the police. And the little boy was like, call the police. Fuck you. Them kids ain't playing with Umar. And so what does Umar do? School to prison pipeline. He called the police. That's the only thing he done did with them kids up there. Call the police on them. That's sad, but hey, it is what it is. All right, thanks, your kids will see this. That was horrible. SA Play says, my wife and I took a disaster relief class last summer. It included basic carpentry and repair, only took 1 month. Yeah, there's no excuse. Real talk, Umar should have prepared himself and educated himself about the process of renovating of any building. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a school or not, but renovating a building, he should have started that process back in 2010. Isn't that deep? We're in 2026 and he still don't know what the fuck he's doing. He should have done that back in 2010 when he made the announcement in January of 2010. He said promises to begin laying the groundwork for the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Pan African School for Black boys specializing in learning disabilities and disruptive behavior disorders. And this will be a private school. And yes, you will pay in order for your son to attend. The grand opening, September 11, 2013. This is chess, not checkers. As soon as he put that out there, he should have been getting the education that he needed. Right? So you take a disaster, and shout out for you to do it for doing that too. That's excellent. Disaster relief class last summer, and it included basic carpentry and repair. So if there's some sort of disaster takes place, you know how to get the carpet repaired and carpentry, any wood work need to be done, right? It only took 1 month. But Umar, in 2026, 16 years after he made the announcement that the school was going to open September 11, 2013, still don't know what he's doing. Now that's deep. He should have learned about carpentry. He should have been learning about HVAC. He should have been learning about plumbing. He should have learned a little bit, at least, about electrical systems. He's opened up a state-of-the-art school, right? He got time. That was 2010. He didn't get the trap battles until 2019. That's almost a decade. He had time. He didn't do it. He ain't done it since. He ain't done it since 2019. In 7 years, there's all kinds of stuff that he could. I mean, he could have taken classes to get himself acclimated to technology, modern technology in the classroom setting. Not typewriters. Don't y'all think he should have done this? Why not? Because he's not serious about opening up a school. And the other thing too, again, going back to what your kids will see this, was saying earlier, even if Umar decided not to get the and he should have the education anyway, because he's Big Papa. He should have gotten the education. Even if he decides not to, he should have built relationships and a network of people to help him with these things. They can give him advice. They can come in and do work themselves to help him out, right? But not Umar. He expects this black immigrant from Jamaica to come in and tell him what needs to be done. The building inspector. It's a bunch of foolishness. Okay. All right. Thanks, SH Play. Yeah, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for Umar. Again, he has no intention of opening a school. He's lazy, and he's more interested in getting money out of people for a school that doesn't exist, and then running around the world being a skank and a skeezer crushing cookies and getting adoration and praise to fulfill his needs as a narcissist who is an egomaniac. He's more interested in that than opening up a school for a black boy or for a black girl, for that matter. All right, we're gonna leave it right there. FEMA will train you for free. Can you imagine Umar getting? Can you imagine Umar getting trained by FEMA? Let me stop. Okay. Thanks. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, thank you guys for tuning on in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know I said it was going to be it's a relatively quick show. I'll say that. I don't plan on live streaming tomorrow unless Umar goes live. My main focus, I'll spend the time tomorrow working on this documentary. I'm like 3 weeks behind on what I promised to you members, but I'm getting close. I finished up with 2012 now, and this next segment is about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So when we get together, make sure you have your, for members, when we get together to watch it, make sure you have your popcorn on deck and have your drink on deck, because it's going to be a while. Okay. All right. I want to thank mods for handling business during this live stream. I appreciate all of your help. Also want to thank everyone who sent in super chats, or if you sent in super stickers. Thank you so much. I always have to say, I don't take it for granted. And it's not just the support, but it's also the engagement, because it really makes the show what it has become. And it's been wonderful. Okay. I'm so thankful. We've come a very, very long way. And I'm looking forward to continuing in this process with you all as we continue to kind of cover the Umar Johnson saga. And I also want to thank everyone inside the Cook Chat for tuning on in. And if at any point you enjoyed the show and you haven't hit that like button, go on and hit it. Our goal was 400. We're at 489. Let's see if we can get to 500 before we get up out of here. Okay. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. And as we always do,
building and restore this building is brand new on the inside. We got to restore it because it was damaged. But brothers and sisters, modern. We don't have to worry about asbestos. We don't have to worry about lead paint. We don't have to worry about asbestos. We don't have to worry about lead paint. Brothers and sisters, we need the FDMG sign very large on all 4 buildings. I want to put the big logo in glass. I want it to light up at night. So when somebody drives down Ifatunde Boulevard, when somebody drives down Ifatunde Boulevard, when somebody drives down Ifatunde Boulevard, they will see the FDMG sign lit up at night. Cows, horses, chickens.
Man. He was tripping right here.
Goosey, you the Lucy Goosey.
Yeah, he was.
Anyone who has hated on me or this, you are not allowed in my school for the rest of your life. You can't come to an event. You can't come to the Pan African Youth Conference. You can't come to the Black Women's Fashion Show, the Black Women's Conference. You can't come to the study groups. You can't come to the think tanks. You can't come to none of the formals, none of the parties. You can't come to the yoga class. You can't come to the fitness center. You can't visit the Pan African Library. If you have ever hated on me or my school, your ass is not allowed. And if I catch you loitering around my campus. How we doing there, gorgeous? I want to have a conference.
All right. People were asking for it. Let's go. It's petty time. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. Undefeated. I need to see some bunny. I need to see some bunny rabbits. We already got the music. Yeah.
See,
I'm not getting this for sure.
she's my slow
Yeah.
running peace. In the winter lights, she's my sweet love.
Yeah, good night, lady.
Touch my
Thank
nose,
you.
this love, but sky is so raw. Make you lose, step
great.
and I'm out of control.
Yeah.
It's me again tonight. Snow bunny. Everything's alright. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's hesitant long. My snow bunny love. Been party by the night. See her eyes shine. She's my snow bunny peace. In the winter lights, so she's my
Yeah.
sweet love supreme. Touch my nose, this love, but sky is so raw. Make you lose, step and I'm out of control.
There go the bunny. All right.
Snow bunny.
Yeah, he had a fashion show.
Everything's alright. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's hesitant long. My snow bunny love.
We have all the bear plants in the house.
See her eyes shine. She's my snow bunny peace.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the
Thank you.
winter lights, so she's my sweet love supreme. Touch my nose, this love, but sky is so raw. Make you lose, step and I'm out of
What's up,
control.
Lucille? Miss Gallup.
It's me again tonight.
Good night,
Snow
Johnny.
bunny. Everything's alright.
It's bunny time.
No, that's hesitant long. My snow
That's the bunny song.
been party by the night.
Yeah. What's up,
See
y'all?
her
You
eyes
can't
shine.
come to my
She's my
clubhouse.
snow bunny peace. In the winter lights, so she's my sweet love supreme.
Thanks, Afro Pump, for
Touch
tuning
my
in.
nose, this love, but sky is so
NBC.
raw. Make
Thanks,
you lose,
Francisco.
step and I'm
Nina.
out of control. It's me again tonight.
Yeah.
Snow bunny.
Thank you.
Everything's alright. Got that smooth soul
Yeah, I told him.
feel. No, that's hesitant long.
Triple C. All right, everyone. Thank you again. Thank you all again for tuning on in. I appreciate y'all's presence. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. Again, thanks everyone for all the support with the super chats and everything else. I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Okay? I appreciate you all. All right. And for everyone, love y'all. See y'all very, very soon. Take care. Peace.